streaming live on YouTube Live and, of course, broadcasting live from the lovely establishment here in the greatest town outside of the greatest city in the world, Wheeling, Serenello's Restaurante Italiano. Yours truly, Jerry Riles. And let's get right to it. He's the one. He's the only. He's the Italian stallion, DC, Danny Carlino. What's up, my man?
Good morning, Jerry. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning, Danny.
It's good to be here again once again at Serenello's. It's always a beautiful place. You know, we're here every week, so you think I'd be used to it, but then when I get back here, it's like, oh, this isn't it? I almost forget. 7 days is like too long.
Yeah, so that means you got to get back over here every now and then throughout the week, Danny. They have a great, man, we're here for the Sunday brunch, but they have a great spread every day, Monday through Friday. 7 days a week, folks. Come on over here for lunch. Come over here for dinner. It is really, 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 really good. But the brunch, we're here every Sunday, as Danny Carlino stated, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Their Sunday brunch goes from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., folks. Come on down right here in Wheeling on the corner of Lake Cooks Road and Milwaukee Avenue, Restaurant Road here in Wheeling. And, of course, he's making his... This guy is becoming a regular. He's fantastic, and we love him. He brings the best to the business. He was bringing you guys some baseball. Now he's bringing you some NFL Chicago Bears football. Had an opportunity to check out the combine. He's the one. He's the only. WSCR, the Score Sports Radio, and I guess WVBM 780. Yeah. The Bears pre and post sideline reporter. He's Matt Brody. What's up, brother?
What's going on, man? Jerry, how are you, dude? Jerry, Danny, you know, you have the Monday through Friday brunch, as he said, but there is nothing happier than Sunday brunch goers.
Yeah.
And when I say that, I mean women. Because if you are a woman, part of your requirement is to go to brunch.
Yeah.
And it's a very happy place here right now.
It is very happy. And you know what? We don't just limit it to the women, the moms, the significant others. We invite you guys to come on down too. If you got a family, bring the kids on down. There's something for everybody here, folks. Something for everybody. Yours truly, Long in the Tooth. I like the Carbon Station. Derek McIntyre's over there. Huron is over there as well. Those guys will be talking with us later on. But they're at the Carbon Station, the beef and the omelet Carbon Station. That's for, you know, guys like me, the meat and potato guy. But you got the kids, they got the cereal over here, Danny Carlino. You guys want some omelet? Come on over here. There's something for the entire family, so feel free to come on down here. Again, every Sunday, Serenello's Restaurante Italiano. We're here from 11 to 1 p.m. They're here from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Come on down. You can't beat it with a stick. The price is just right. The food is out of sight. Come on down here. And guys, we're going to be joined by we're celebrating St. Patrick's Day a week early.
Okay.
You know, kind of like the Southsiders, you know, Southside Irish parade they have going on, you know, because next Saturday is St. Patrick's Day. So we didn't want to wait until the day after. We wanted to do it a week early.
I'm pretty sure, though, that some people will still be celebrating by the
Oh,
time we
yeah.
do our show next week.
Oh, yeah.
They won't remember what they did the night before, but they'll be celebrating. Some of them don't.
We want you to be responsible, that's for sure. Kelly Lee Williams will be joining us late in the broadcast, of course, and John Moon Mullen, NBC Sports Chicago, is in the house, and we have a treat for you guys as far as St. Patrick's Day is concerned. If you guys can see right behind me really quick, the Chicago Highlanders are in the house, folks. They're going to be playing bagpipes and drums. They're going to be jamming here. So if you guys can't make it down here, definitely keep it locked in. YouTube Live. Of course, we'll be on Comcast Access later on in the week, and a lot more in store coming up as the weeks approach. But, folks, let's get right into it as far as the sports conversation is concerned. We'll get a chance to really get into some football action.
Yeah.
Mark, we'll talk a little bit of baseball with you as well.
Good to go on whatever you want to talk about.
But I got to tell you guys, the big news, the big story as far as this weekend is concerned, not only the fact that it's Selection Sunday, March Madness is here, and man, it's going to be a lot of crazy stuff going on, especially here in the Chicago ranks when we talk about the Loyola Ramblers. But before we get into that, to me, the big story of the weekend, folks, guys, that guy Tiger Woods.
Yeah.
Tiger Woods. Is he back? Ladies and gentlemen, he's one stroke behind in the final round of the Vasper Open taking place. A lot of people, they said that the internet basically crashed on Friday when Tiger Woods just took the course by storm and took the field by storm and was leading. What was your reaction, Danny Carlino, to Tiger Woods' comeback?
Well, we've had a couple of dalliances recently, but then it cleared up. So, I mean, he's been gone for quite a while here.
Well, I mean, he's back and forth.
But I mean, he hasn't been in
He's since 2013.
Yeah, that's a long time for a guy that was on his way to being likely the greatest ever, most decorated. So, for him, the biggest thing is can he get to Saturday?
Right.
That was his thing. That's the first hurdle.
Right.
So anything beyond that, I think at this point is gravy, and then it goes on from one tournament to the next one he's part of.
Well, I think that no matter what, through it all, with Tiger's indiscretions, with some of the issues he went through, with some of these other younger golfers sort of taking a little bit of the spotlight, this is what everybody's always wanted. Everybody wants to see Tiger win again,
right? And
he's finally doing it. And we all sort of, I think most people have been in a good denial that Tiger Woods was done. Everybody's kind of like, there's no way this guy is really awful now. And in fact, I think that most people now are rooting for him. The older, more mature Tiger Woods. And if he starts winning again, and it's so funny to me because I think that a lot of the people who are like the golf people, the real golf people,
right?
They tried to pump up other younger golfers and things like that, while all the while they knew the draw still, until he is retired or gone from this world, will be Tiger Woods.
Right.
Period.
Yeah.
He's the reason that we're talking about golf right now. He's the only reason he gets that golf gets talked about at the top of the page.
At the highest level. Yeah.
I think part of the reason you bring that up too, they're trying to pump up the younger golfers because they know what they were missing. Because Tiger Woods is so good, so young. So like having younger guys being very good at golf helps bring.
And there are some great young golfers, but nobody was as spectacular as what Tiger Woods did when he was young. And it's sports human nature to want to recapture that. Like, we're always looking for that sports high, and it can be found in Tiger Woods.
Yeah, I mean, and he has a presence when you know that his name is on the list, he's in the field. I mean, there's a special buzz, a little bit more electricity. And of course, you're right, Danny. With Tiger in the past few years, you would just want to see if he can make it to Saturday. Now he's made it to Sunday, and he's definitely in the hunt, which means ratings going up. And again, with the internet basically almost crashing because this guy almost had a flawless second round on Friday. It's remarkable how he has been able to bounce back because most people, and most athletes, just take a look at Derrick Rose as far as basketball is concerned. He's on his last leg, literally, pretty much, with the Minnesota Timberwolves. And you just say, hey, it's time. And he even talked about hanging up the sneakers because that's it. Tiger Woods continued to battle, whether it's the knee surgeries, whether it's the back injuries, whatever the case may be, he continued to battle. And it looks like he is definitely in the hunt. Looks like he should be able to get the victory, I would imagine, but also in preparation for the big one, the Masters coming up.
I think part of it is I think he realizes with his transgressions and his other issues and the way he's dealt with those issues, he needed golf.
Well,
and in a way, golf needed him.
Of course.
And then even as we're talking about the younger golfers too, I mean, I'm sure that through this strange period of the last 5 years for Tiger Woods, all the younger guys that have come up and won and shown promise get asked about Tiger Woods.
Sure.
And they're probably thinking in their mind, if you're a real competitor, you want to compete against the best. So if I can actually beat him when he's not hobbling on one leg or dealing with these other problems, that okay, now maybe I can really justify that I am one of the best. I beat him while he's still actually good.
Yeah, well, it's funny. Like at my radio station, Score, sometimes there's been a difference of opinion on when Tiger was not winning. Why are we still giving his, like, no matter what, Tiger Woods is 4 over. We're still giving his score leader, maybe the second guy. And to me, I was on the side where I'm going to give no matter what. He's great, maybe the greatest golfer of all time. I don't care if the guy disqualified. I don't care if he's 6 over. You give Tiger Woods a score because everybody wants to know, because everybody wants to see this guy do well.
Yeah,
for the most part.
They certainly do. Now, do you think with a victory in this tournament and let's say a top 5 finish in the Masters, do you think Tiger Woods has an opportunity, for the record? I mean, or is it too far-fetched?
What is he at 15 right now, and the record is 18 or 19, something like that?
Right. So yeah.
I'm just throwing out windows.
No, hey, no.
It's about this, maybe. I bring my facts to the table. If you just do that, you're always right. I think he's won about 14,
You do that
15.
when you keep score on the golf course.
Yeah.
Looks like a 2 to me.
Yeah, well, 1 under, 2 under, whatever it takes. But yeah, no, I think that if he finishes top 5, and if he wins this tournament and then he finishes top 5 at Augusta, I think, I don't know if he's going to break the record, but he's relevant again in terms of winning.
Yeah.
That he's good, that he will take over as the story again, no matter what.
See, I think with a couple of victories under his belt, I think just his competitive nature, I think it puts him in the hunt. Because, I mean, to play at that level, that stature for so long, I mean, we know how these guys are. They're ego-driven. And, you know, they want to be known as the best, and they want to do whatever. And I think he just physically got his body in shape. Not just to get out there to play golf, but to play it at an elite level.
Well, yeah, you know, I also think that, like, we as fans are always looking for that sports high, for that great story and somebody to get behind. Athletes are always looking to get that high back, too.
Exactly.
Like, that same feeling. Like, Tiger has been chasing Tiger for the last 5 years, the same as fans have been doing for him. So Tiger wants that thrill. I mean, and you said, you know, it's ego. Well, I think, of course, there's ego involved, but this guy was, as we said earlier, the man was built, like, made from a young age to play golf and to be great at golf. So that's his life.
Yeah. Real quick before we take our first time out, and again, we're broadcasting from Ciaranello's Restaurante Italiano right here in Wheeling, outside the greatest city in the world, Chicago. Mark Grody, WSCR/WBBM News Radio 78, the New Bears pre and post sideline reporter. Danny Carlino, the Italian Stallion. DC in the house. Go to baseball real quick, Mark. You are the man as far as that's concerned as well. The Cubs, they're looking pretty good in spring training so far. I mean, they seem to be lively. They seem to be excited. They seem to be eager to get the season to start. We're just a couple weeks away from the start of the regular season, but they're, from what I've been able to see and read, the Cubs seem to be energetic and ready to go.
Well, there's not a whole lot of decisions that need to be made as far as the Cubs roster is concerned. At this point, you just worry about injuries. You know, the tweak to the hamstring of Javier Baez, so that's a little bit of a concern. But, you know, I can tell you from being at spring training last year that, you know, I don't know, hangover is such a cliche word, but there wasn't that anxiety to get to the regular season as you said, to be anxious.
Right.
This year, I'm not there, but from what I could see and what I could feel, these guys are ready now. And it's so funny. You know, we talk about the hangover from last year, and the hangover got them into the National League Championships.
Right.
Most hangovers get you other places than
you got to rally, right, Danny?
Most hangovers get you a couple of aspirins, man. And
but yeah, no, I mean,
it's
it's amazing what the Yu Darvish signing did. I mean, in terms of what I think, it put everything into place. Like, you thought that your biggest signing on the starting rotation was going to be Tyler Chatwood, and you were kind of like, you know, because he still could be really good, but he was in Colorado, so you don't really know. But then that just makes him your legit 5. It makes that look good. If John Lester, who struggled last year, relatively speaking, and getting a little bit older, makes that okay. It puts Kyle Hendricks comfortably in that number 2 or 3 spot, and it makes it okay that Jake Arrieta is no longer with. So that was such an incredibly important signing for the Cubs, just to make everything stable in that starting rotation.
Now, is it accurate to say that the rumor, as far as Jake is concerned, that maybe he'll sign a 1-year deal with the Cubs?
I was talking about that on the record the other day.
Yeah.
People looked at me cross-eyed. You know, if it doesn't even have to be a 1-year deal. Cubs have the money to give him a 3-year deal, and if all these teams, because the Cubs clearly made some sort of offer or put something on the table for Jake Arrieta, or had something in mind for him.
All right.
I think. And if they go back now, look at it and say, hey, we can get Jake Arrieta 3 years and whatever, why wouldn't Arrieta consider doing that unless his ego is hurt from the Cubs, in essence, choosing Yu Darvish over him? So, no, I don't rule that out at all. He would slot nicely in the Tyler Chatwood place.
I'm just kind of surprised that more teams didn't jump after him.
Well,
does that surprise you?
It did surprise me. I think that sometimes when you have a free agent like that, and the team that had him doesn't have a whole lot of interest in him, other teams say, why aren't the Cubs anxious to re-sign this guy? And I will say this, 2015 was amazing.
It's unbelievable.
Started to slide a little bit in 2016, but he was great in the World Series. They don't win the World Series without him. Last year, when Jake Arrieta would get into the 6th inning, it was cumbersome. I mean, he would run up his pitch count like he'd never done before. He still has that arduous wind-up that's never changed. And I think that the Cubs probably looked at that and said, we may have gotten the best out of this guy. Is he still a quality pitcher? Heck yeah. Can he still be great at times? Absolutely. I just think there's some things that the Cubs saw in terms of what happened to him when he got into the middle innings last year that they didn't like.
Yeah.
Well, facts are that we saw what happened with this year's market, right? I mean, he's not the only one, and other ones just signed recently in the last couple of weeks. If he's a free agent last year and definitely after 15, he's rolling in money.
Oh yeah.
Oh
no.
Timing is everything.
As a human being perspective, I feel bad for the guy. Like even like 2015 would have been great. Even after 2016, the guy would have gotten gold. And then 2017 comes around, and it's like, ooh, I don't know. And then we happen to be in this really odd year where whatever's going on with the owners in terms of not paying the big bundles of cash, maybe waiting for next year. So it might be wise for him to take the one-year deal and be part of that huge free agent class starring Bryce Harper next year.
Well, it's interesting. We're going to take a short time out here, but before we do, it was interesting to see how the Cubs came out. You talked about the hangover last year, and they had a horrible start to 2017 last year. This year, they're looking good. They're looking energetic. Joe Madden said the outfield, hey, we're going to do what we're going to do. Schwarber in left, Jason Hayward, hopefully, he's going to earn his keep and keep performing the way he's expected to perform in right field, and we'll platoon the guys in center field. With the way things are shaping up and looking heading into the regular season, I know it's a far way apart.
Yeah.
But Sports Illustrated stepped out a couple years ago, say they were going to win the World Series back in January of that year. Can they? And you talked about their success last year, despite the slow start. Can they make a run?
I think that yes, I do, and I think that with the improvements that they made to the bullpen, with the improvements that they've made to their starting pitching, and then that natural hunger perhaps being back, you caught back up with the Dodgers. I think in terms of just team for team talent. The Dodgers were better than the Cubs last year. They were more talented than the Chicago Cubs last year. I think the one team that people are forgetting, a couple teams maybe, and I know you think I'm going to say Milwaukee, but it's not that. It's the Nationals, the Washington Nationals. The Cubs had to sweat their way through the National League Division Series last year against Washington. If not for that wacky Game 5 at Nationals Park, they don't even make it onto the NLCS. So for some reason, we're all discounting Washington, probably because of their failures and their perceived choking through the years. But Washington's for real. The Dodgers are for real. I think Milwaukee's going to be better, but they're not there yet. They're not there yet. No, they're not. They're not as good as the Cubs. I think there's going to be some great series between those two teams this year, but I think Milwaukee's probably still a year away.
Can the Giants be a surprise?
Also, Milwaukee, you think he's going to hit 20 home runs in the first two?
Oh yeah, and then not hit any the rest of the year, basically. And you know what, Jerry? I'm glad you brought up San Fran. San Fran's one of those teams that they're like the Cardinals, Like you just can never count them out in terms of winning World Series, and they've beefed up a little bit too. And after having a bad season last year, without Madison Bumgarner for a lot of the year,
no ATVs this year.
No ATVs this year. No, I think I'm glad you brought up San Francisco. They're always in play.
It's interesting. We didn't get a chance to talk about the White Sox, but it's just interesting. I'm looking forward to.
Hey, the White Sox are fun too.
No, they gotta adopt that slogan. The kids can play. Come on, Danny.
Oh, that's so 2000, Jerry. That's so Jerry Manuel.
Yeah, and don't forget they got eliminated on a bunt from the playoffs. So let's not talk about 2000 either. But one thing I want to bring up here, talking about the Cubs, is that who's that guy wearing Kyle Schwarber's uniform? I'm not even talking about performance. I'm looking like
Slim Kyle.
Is he wearing like a girdle or something? It's like his waist is like. It's like 1/4 the size it used to be.
Well, you know what's funny is like Kelly and I were talking about it on the ride in today. Like everybody's worried about his weight loss. Kyle Schwarber, his power comes from his bat speed, not from the extra fat he had. People are like, oh no, he lost weight. He's not going to have power. He lost fat, and he still has muscle, and he has bat speed like not many in baseball.
God bless him.
I'm looking. I don't know how much better he'll be in the outfield, but he's probably less likely to hurt himself.
At
the very least.
I don't know about his outfield prowess. I do worry about Kyle Schwarber in the outfield.
Let's hope he worked on it.
Oh, I hope he did too. I mean, he's a great kid, and again, like most of those young Cubs players, they're earnest in their desire to get better, and I know for a fact Schwarber is. But he's got to get better out there because there was some fumbles last year. Let's put it that way.
God bless him. May rest in peace, Jimmy Pearsall. He was still with us. I'm sure he have something to offer to him.
He'd be better now if Pearsall got a hold of him.
Yeah. Hey guys, we're gonna take a short time out here. We're streaming live on YouTube and broadcasting from Serenello's Ristorante Italiano right here in Wheeling. Mark Brody, WSCR, WBBM, and of course Danny Carlino, the Italian Stallion. When we come back, Bears football conversation, the one, the only, John Moon Mullen, NBC Sports, will be joining us. Keep it locked in. You've got the Rewind Sports 60.
Broadcasting from Serenello Rugby in Wheeling and sponsored by the Midwest Sound and Lighting Nerd.
Hey guys, welcome back to Rewind Sports 60. Jerry Riles, Danny Carlino, get on in here. We're joined by John Moon Mullen at NBC Sports Chicago, and of course Mark Brody, the Score Sports Radio 670 WBBM Bears new pre and post sideline reporter. And wow, stuff is coming out, Moon Mullen.
Belmont Avenue. Feel free to drop by.
I can't worry, Rob.
Let me tell you something.
And Saturdays from
The
11
hits
a.m.
just
to
keep
6
coming.
p.m.
Every time there's something new for you.
773-975-4250. And remember, tell them the
Yeah, that was crazy.
Sports 60
That was really
you.
crazy.
Yeah, it's funny how that makes it as a
This portion of
highlight.
the Rewind Sports
Just
60
because it was so
broadcasting
weird.
from
I mean,
Serenello
it was a good game. The Bears
Yeah.
beat the Eagles and Buddy and so forth. But it's odd what ends up as a historic game.
Friends of the program.
And no one can see it.
Exactly.
So,
It was that was a pretty interesting day. Yeah, real quick, we're celebrating St. Patrick's Day a week early, as you know. Next Saturday is St. Patrick's Day. So we wanted to get an early jump. We got our festive giddy up. I got the green pun and everything.
It's such an Irish coffee.
That is coffee, my good friend. And of course, the Chicago Highlanders, the pipes and bags are here. The drums, guys, give it to us.
And remember, tell them the Rewind Sports 60. This portion of the And remember,
thank you very much, folks. Let me tell you something. The hits just keep coming. Come on down here every Sunday, Sunday brunch, the Rewind Sports 60, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. I tell you, you just simply don't know what you're going to get. You don't know what's in store for you. Come on down here. The food is fantastic. The people are fantastic. The staff is fantastic. And of course, the entertainment value is outstanding. Again, thank you for joining us on the Rewind Sports 60. If you guys can come on down here, keep it locked in to live. Mark Brody, WSCR, John Mullen, NBC Sports Chicago, and of course my main man, Danny Carlino, the Italian Stallion. And before we get into our Bears conversation, football conversation, John Mullen, you said you had some insights or some thoughts on Tiger Woods and his great play this weekend. Are you surprised with how he's been able to steadily climb and bounce back and play at the high level?
I guess. I mean, we don't get better with age mostly. We get bitter with age, but not always better. And again, we didn't talk about the importance of him in golf. I mean, I'm
kind of tired of Seven Dwarfs. I'm tired of Sneezy, Dopey, Jordan, Jason. I want Snow White.
I love it.
I want to see it. But more than that,
West
you know,
Belmont Avenue.
one of the great ad campaigns I thought, again, we can
11 a.m. to
make
7 p.m.
say
and
one about
Saturdays from 11 a.m. to
advertising,
6
was
p.m.
Tiger Woods,
Or
you know,
give them a call
I am
at
Tiger Woods.
773-975-4250
Right. And it was kind of like
say
a new man. It
hello.
was
And
like,
remember,
you can be
tell
anything
them
you want
the
to be.
Rewind
Again, that's
Sports
marketing.
60 sent
Right.
you.
But that's kind of what he brought in.
This portion of the
enthusiasm-
Rewind Sports 60
enthusiasm to the
broadcasting
game.
from
But
7
also, I want to see, like, maybe as an American, I want to see him coming back. I mean, we're a nation with second chances.
Right.
They
And
are
I think
friends
we want
of
to
the
forgive
program.
people.
From
You know, you can say, well, maybe, you know, if you do that to your wife, you need to wear a iron around your neck. I'm not endorsing domestic violence.
No.
But we recover from that. Come on back. We want to welcome you
is
back.
located at
That's, I think,
1613
the best
West
part of
Belmont
us
Avenue.
as a
Feel free to
country.
drop by Monday through
And again,
Friday
I'm
from
sort of
11
hoping he
a.m. to 7
overcomes it
p.m.
and gets
and
back to where he
Saturdays
was.
from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. Or give them a
Kinda
call
hard
at
to
Well, we-
773-975-4250.
you're right about that. Americans also like to, and I
Say
think most
hello.
people in the
And
world like
remember,
to see
tell them the
real
Rewind
greatness.
Sports 60 sent
Real
you.
greatness, and we
This portion of
obviously
the
were
Rewind
spoiled to
Sports
have
60
Michael Jordan
broadcasting
and to
from
see
7
real
Ellis
greatness
Rock
before us.
Lake in
The nation has got to see
Midwest Pro
real
Sound and
greatness
Lighting Nerd
in
Audio
Tiger Woods. And
Shop
you're
in
right, no
Chicago.
matter
They
all
are
the other
friends
young
of the
stars,
program.
and they're
From
great,
rentals
and
to
they,
studios to lessons, repairs, and
the Golf
installation.
Association is
Midwest
like
Pro Sound and Lighting
desperately
Nerd Audio
to sell us
Shop
those
in
guys,
Chicago.
right? I
is
mean,
your
and
one-stop
it hasn't worked
destination.
out.
Midwest
Well,
Pro
and
Sound
even
and Lighting
more
Nerd
just the
Audio
greatness,
Shop in
the
Chicago
greatness
is
we kind
located
of
at
love.
1613
And I think
West
Tiger brought
Belmont
this to the
Avenue.
game. I think
Feel free
Michael
to
brought
drop
it.
by Monday through
Artie
Friday
Palmer
from
brought it.
11
We
a.m.
want
to
to see
7 p.m.
we
and
our
Saturdays
great
from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m.
We
Or
want to
give them a
enthusiasm.
call at
Tiger on the Sunday morning, the red, and that fist bump, even Jack
Say
Nicklaus
hello.
on the
And remember,
86.
tell them
We
the
kind of
Rewind
want to see
Sports
we want to
60
see
sent
greatness,
you.
but I want to see that it matters to these guys.
This
too. I don't
portion
just
of the
want a golf
Rewind
clap.
Sports
I want
60
somebody
broadcasting
really
from
right,
7
enjoying the
Ellis
moment. And
Rock
Arnie was that kind of guy.
Yeah.
I think he opened the door. I think even Tiger Woods even talked about that.
They are
He
friends
stood
of
up
the
on some
program.
shoulders,
From rentals
but
to
they brought
studios
something
to
to the
lessons,
game
repairs,
that
and
allowed us to
installation.
kind of be
Midwest
more
Pro Sound
expressive.
and
I think
Lighting
that's a good
Nerd
thing.
Not just another guy in a
Audio
polo
Shop in
shirt.
Chicago
Right,
is your
right.
one-stop destination.
You know, I like
Midwest
the
Pro
fact
Sound
that
and Lighting Nerd Audio Shop in Chicago.
you know, we talked
is
about it
located
for a
at
segment, the opening
1613
segment.
West
I mean,
Belmont Avenue.
These
Feel free
athletes,
to
they're
drop by Monday
ego
through Friday from
and they
11 a.m.
want to
to
be the
7 p.m.
best.
and
And
Saturdays
sometimes,
from
you
11
know,
a.m. to 6 p.m.
like a Michael
Give them a
Jordan,
call
I mean,
at 773
Father Time touches him on the shoulder and say, "It's time to sit down."
Sometimes slaps you in the
And
face.
remember,
Yeah,
tell them the Rewind
but Tiger
sent you.
Woods, he it's like
This
he's
portion of the Rewind
determined
Sports 60
to
broadcast
get back to that
from
old
7
form,
Ellis Rock
and it looks
Lake
like
is
he's
sponsored by the
close to
Midwest
it.
And to
Pro Sound and
overcome
Lighting Nerd Audio Shop in Chicago.
all, you know,
They
back
are friends of
surgeries
the
and
program.
knee
Right.
surgeries.
From rentals
and
to
you
studios
forget
to
that.
lessons,
You know, these
repairs, and
guys,
installation.
Wait a minute,
Midwest
I'm
Pro
kind
Sound
of
and
over
Lighting
somebody.
Nerd Audio
I think it's
Shop
like
in
in the world.
Chicago
Yeah,
is
we
your
kind of
one-stop
want to see it
destination.
again.
Midwest
Get
Pro
back to
Sound
the
and
bigger
Lighting
picture.
Nerd Audio
I mean, it's way
Shop
bigger
in
than
Chicago
sports.
is located at
Me feel good
1613
just
West
watching
Belmont
some of the-
Avenue.
you know,
Feel
watching
free to
Little
drop
Sunday.
by
I was-
Monday through Friday
My
from
handicap
11 a.m.
wasn't
to
that
7
low.
p.m. and Saturday from 11
I have
a.m.
a
to
true
6 p.m.
handicap.
Give them a call at
Well, you talk about ego, too. I think
773-975-4250.
that Tiger has something that I
Say
think is
hello.
actually
And
relatively
remember,
rare in
tell
sports,
them
and
the
that's that
Rewind
killer
Sports 60 sent you.
mentality, like where you
This
really want
portion
to
of the
win.
Rewind
And I
Sports
can't
60
name too
broadcasting
many
from
people
7 Ellis
in sports, honestly. Like, think about, like, I think Tom Brady has that right now. Tiger Woods, obviously, Michael Jordan obviously had it, but like, you think of like current players in any sport right now that have that absolutely want to punch you in the face, tear your heart out. There's not that many of those guys that exist, and Tiger has that, whether it's ego-driven or not, or just hyper, being hyper-competitive. I don't know, but like I can't like think off the top of my head too many guys that play the sport, any sports right now that have that complete killer mentality.
Yeah, that's true. Would you say LeBron James does
Yes.
carry that?
Yes, I do.
Because for me,
He wasn't born with it. He wasn't born with
Yeah,
it. You know,
yeah.
I think now he's obsessed with winning titles. So, or maybe since he went to Miami, he was.
They are
Yeah.
friends of the program.
So he's like a 9 on the killer scale, maybe.
Yeah.
If you're having a
Midwest Pro
pickup
Sound
game,
and Lighting Nerd Audio Shop in
guess you don't have the
Chicago
whole
is
NBA
your
to pick from.
one-stop destination. Midwest Pro Sound and Lighting
be your
Nerd
first
Audio
choice?
Shop in
I get
Chicago
it. It's
is
too
located
easy to
at
say Michael, but you know what?
1613 West
I'll give you
Belmont
Michael.
Avenue. Feel free
Oh,
to
you
drop
mean
by.
of all time?
Of all time,
Of
yeah.
all time.
Okay.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Saturdays
Greatest
from
player,
11
greatest
a.m. to
player,
6 p.m.
right, and
Or
great
give them a call
competitor.
at
Yeah.
773-975-4250 to say
Larry,
hello. And remember,
LeBron.
tell
I
them
think
the
LeBron, I
Rewind
think there's too many
Sports
people
60
trying to
sent
take
you.
him
Who are you saying? It's not
This portion of the
competitive.
60 broadcasting from
No, are you saying that Jordan
As competitive, you think Jordan was really any more competitive
They are
than
friends
Magic?
of the program. From rentals to studios.
I think he was.
I think so.
Yeah,
And the
I
reason-
think not by much because Magic had that thing too.
right.
Magic had the killer. He had it, but I think like no, you're right about that in terms of the killer. I think it went up just like a fraction with Michael. You know what I mean? But those are good examples.
Here's the reason I say that.
Or give them a call.
And you have to give credit to the bad boys. Because you remember, they beat him like a drum. They beat him like a drum. And that guy came back. He came back the next year. And I mean, he was stoked. I mean, this guy was like, but also to come back after the tragedy regarding his dad. I mean, all of us, no one expected him to come back. That's something very, very difficult to overcome and to reach that status, that height again. That's why I elevate him to the
1613 West Belmont
pedestal on his own. Those other guys, you're absolutely right. Fierce competitors.
And Saturdays from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m.
The funniest story, I remember a bird was telling a story about, this guy he was an assassin. Everybody thought he was a nice guy. So he's out by the three-point, he just
this portion of the
inside.
Rewind Sports 60 broadcasting
realizes where he takes a step back and Nick says, I'm running at him.
Yeah.
And Larry steps back so it would be a 3, fires it, and then says, what'd you come out here for? It was like just kind of like, get the knife in.
Right.
Just a knife, and I'm going to give a little twist.
Yeah, you never saw Bird smiling.
Here's my deal with Larry Bird. You remember when Isaiah Thomas and Dennis Ruffin, they said that he's a black guy, he'd be just an average ball player. You know, and I hadn't seen Larry play
and Saturdays from
went to
11
the
a.m.
old
to 6
barn.
p.m. Or give them a
I'm
call
sitting
at
on
773-975-4250.
watching the Celtics.
Say hello and remember.
And this guy's like right in front of me, like,
Sport 60
dude!
you.
Blew me away.
This portion of the Rewind Sport 60
It was the passes that he was making were unbelievable. The shots he was making were, so it was my first time to see him in person. I was like, this guy is good. Because I thought, all the media hype, all the Boston media saying, hey, all this stuff, But when I watched him live, he was unbelievable.
I figured the guys like Auerbach or the Celtics don't just take draft guys a year early because of hype.
Is located at
Yeah, or I don't know. But again, we're just comparing Beethoven and Mozart.
Yeah.
He's a great composer.
It's not like Larry Bird was a secret in college.
Exactly.
That was funny. The Olympic thing went way off theirs.
Yeah, of course.
They talked about the Dream Team and Magic and Larry talking about. They had an inner squad game of some kind, and Michael just lit everybody up. And Magic says, Larry, there's a new sheriff.
Yeah.
Which is a passion of the torch. That's what should happen.
There's where that fraction of killer, just a little bit more.
Well, before we get into the Bear conversation, what do you think about the new era of sports, in particular the NBA, with all these star players trying to sign together, similar to like a dream team in the league? What are your thoughts on that?
And Saturdays from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. Or give them a call at 773-975-4250.
First of all, I don't like the draft. I'm one of the guys who says, why should these kids be told where you can only play? I mean, that's a whole other discussion, but
this portion of the Rewind Sports 60 broadcasting from Serenello's Mr. Rock is Wheeling is sponsored by the Midwest Pro Sound and Lighting Audio Film Shop in Chicago. They are friends of the program. From rentals to studios to lessons, repairs and installations, Midwest Pro Sound and Lighting Nerd Audio Shop in Chicago is your one-stop destination. Midwest Pro Sound and Lighting Nerd Audio Shop in Chicago is located at 1613 West Belmont Avenue. Feel free to drop by Monday through Friday.
Like when it happens and it's not my team,
and Saturdays from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Nobody has a chance when Kevin Durant goes to Golden State.
It's just not Chicago and brought Larry with them.
But then, even when it's not my team,
this portion of the
those are the teams that I want to watch. Right?
We kind of want to see greatness.
Right.
I love this drive the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
To me, the Patriots are both the best and the worst thing.
They are friends of the program.
We do want to see. We want to see Snow White.
Right.
We want to know. We want to measure you against something big. I don't just want to know that you're the best of them. Like this year's draft destination.
Midwest Pro Sound and Lighting Nerd Audio Shop in Chicago is located at 1613 West Belmont Avenue. Feel free to drop by Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturdays from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. Or give them a call at 773-975-4250. Say hello and remember, tell them the Rewind Sports 60 sent you.
You know,
this portion of the Rewind Sports 60 broadcasting.
There are already parameters in there for people to guide what you can do as a team and what kind of content you can get. So if that's how they want to spend their money and they get the 3-4 best players in the league, that's up to them. But I'll tell you one thing. I'm rooting for anybody but the Cavs and the Warriors in the finals. Chicago. That's it. I mean, but as a kid, I always wanted to see the Celtics and the Lakers. I don't know
you want to watch Boston and San Antonio?
That's exactly that's why you want the Yankees or you want the Patriots.
And Saturdays from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Just
or give
talk
them a
about me a
call.
lot.
Right.
I think the NFL needed a villain and a hero, and they got kind of both with the two like that. And then sure enough, somebody knocks them off. A little second-string quarterback.
This portion of the Rewind Sports
Exactly. No, I'm the old school guy. I'm like what Charles Barkley says, Michael, Larry, all of them. Hey, I wanted to beat you. I didn't want to play with you. I wanted to beat you. And that's how I am. I'm also an old schooler when you talk about the Yankees. Everybody hated the Yankees and George Steinbrenner, but hey, if you got the deep pockets, you want that guy, go get him. Now it's up to your ownership or your team to say, hey, we're going to stop you. That's the type of guy that I am. I don't like to see the manufacturer or hey, let's come on over here and play together and then we'll just dominate everybody. I don't in particular like that, but I do understand what you're saying regarding the control factor. If I have an opportunity to play with my buddies and control what's going on, why not? I do.
Yeah, I mean, again,
they are friends of the program.
There's so much restrictive, whether it's the cap, whether it's the draft, whether it's anybody can kind of beat the system, but within the rules.
Right. Your one-stop destination. Midwest Pro Sound and Lighting Nerd Audio Shop in Chicago is located at 1613 West Belmont Avenue.
I can believe
Feel free to drop by Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. and Saturdays from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Or Larry,
give them a call at 773-975-4250 to say hello. And remember, tell them the Rewind Sports 60 sent
Celtics
you.
acquired a few good players while he was there too.
This portion of the Rewind Sports 60 broadcasting
they didn't just all of a sudden they weren't terrible before Mike Johnson showed up. Right? The Lakers are a pretty good history. So I mean, it isn't quite. It wasn't necessarily the players making. Maybe that's the difference. They built.
Right. Well, what's also pretty cool too is I mean the power teams are great at putting together their own team. But the building from within championships are pretty darn satisfying too for fan base. Let's use the Cubs as an example. I mean, that is for the most part, a homegrown, a farm system grown team, and then that can bring you right back to Bulls who are trying to sort of build it from in.
See, man, we were having some fun here, man.
I'll go sit down.
Now we're going to talk about tanking.
Sorry about that.
Exactly.
You get fined for that.
Yeah.
We're going to take a short time out here. Serenello's Restaurante Italiano, right here in the heart of Wheeling on the corner of Lake Cook Road and Milwaukee Avenue, Restaurant Row. Enjoying Sunday brunch. Come on down here if you guys are in the area, but keep it locked in on YouTube's Live. Folks, we're having a fantastic time. The Chicago Highlanders will be coming back playing some more bagpipe and drum music for you, so keep it locked in. You've got the Rewind Sports 60 Bears conversation coming up right after this short time out.
Say hello. Every mention of the Rewind Sports 60 broadcasting from Serenello's Restaurante in Wheeling is sponsored by the Midwest Pro Sound and Lighting Nerd Audio Synth Shop in Chicago. They are friends of the program. From rentals to studios to lessons.
Welcome back to the Rewind Sports 60, streaming live on Facebook Live. Now let's get you back to the hottest sports panel in Chicago.
Hello, Chicago!
Lock it in.
Oh, but I'm disappointed in my guys in the rally to come back.
I thought the same
That's the most hypocritical thing I've ever heard.
I know.
Yes, please.
I got no time for tanking. I think that's just despicable. The fans and everything else.
Yeah, well, they're going to...
What you do is you build a losing culture.
Yeah, no, you're right. And that's why they, quote-unquote, quit that. Because they don't have to.
Right next to it.
Good. Dawning of the day, man. Ready? Right? Quick.
Hey, thank you guys. Chicago Highlanders, ladies and gentlemen, Jeff Harris, Anita Janis, and Dan Grill. They're getting it done here. Guys, we're going to keep you guys hanging around. We'll get an opportunity to chat with you a little bit later before we say goodbye, but thank you so much. You guys are fantastic. Happy St. Patrick's Day to you.
I've never been that close to bagpipes before.
Yeah, man.
I wish I sounded that good when I was full of air.
You're hearing bagpipes makes me feel drunk without the benefit of drinking.
All right, Mark Foley, WSCR Sports Radio 670, WBBM Bears pre and post sideline reporter. Hey, man, John Moon Mullen, NBC Sports Chicago. Still kind of a mouthful to get that down.
I know, and it's changed a couple times. If you don't wait a few minutes, it'll change the name.
Exactly. Danny Carlino, the Italian Stallion. You guys both had an opportunity to check out the NFL Combine last week. John, let's start with you. What were your thoughts from the overall presentation of what took place?
Going a lot of directions there.
Yeah. Well, no, but it's a good way to put it, though. Okay, when the ball stops rolling, what's the first thing that comes to mind? And it honestly, it's interesting because it's all about the draft. The Combine is all about draft, and yet the real thing that's happening obviously tomorrow, or it's happening already, is free agency. And the draft kind of becomes what you fill in around what you didn't get in free agency. But, the takeaway was Ryan Pace saying, he wasn't apologetic for trying to be aggressive in the quarterback situation. This, again, is one specific. And it bears on everything because I think he's made a lot of mistakes. But whereas Jerry Angelo believed in a floor, we'll go with we want to pick a guy where we know he's at least going to be this good. He won't be he'll be this good. To me, that's conservative. That's when you get Michael Haynes, you get Dan Bazine, you get average guys. You're just okay. Pace has kind of taken the dice and rolled it, and wrongly on a bunch of guys. But at least he's kind of going for it. Now, you could say, as he was thinking, they got Mike Lennon. Well, should they have taken Brian Hoyer? You could say, or Case Keenum, obviously, or something. But the point is, Pace was being aggressive. He was trying to get something done. They threw big money at Stephon Gilmore and A.J. Bouye, their cornerbacks. Nobody would take it. Mm-hmm. And I think Pace even said, our quarterback situation now being stabilized. It wasn't Mike Lennon, but it was the draft choice. The quarterback and the head coaching situation stabilized. Last year, they couldn't get those guys to come because they had to guarantee too much money. Mm-hmm. They were throwing the same money out there, maybe even a little bit more. But the agents were saying, hey, before my guy comes there, you're head coach, you got the quarterback thing, my guy will never be in the playoffs. I think what I was taking away from the Combine was Pace talking about the overall, what he had been trying to do. I think he needs to pick better guys. But I like a guy who kind of is rolling the dice. Remember the word upside. That's the biggest thing. I'm just keeping medium length here. The reason why they went for Glennon was upside. Let's take a shot at this guy rather than, we know what Brian Hoyer is. I would have gone that direction, but they went for it. They picked the wrong guys. I think they're going to be able to keep doing that. They have so much money, I've heard that they are telling people, we will not be outbid. Bring your best offer to us, and we're not going to be outbid. We'll see about that. But that's kind of my biggest takeaway is they are going to be aggressive. I mean, one guy was 14-34, he got fired. The other guy was 14-30, John Fox. Right. The other guy was 14-34, Ryan Pace. He got an extension.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I think the pressure's on him to keep being aggressive. Don't just play it safe. I think you're going to be going for some guys.
But again, it's a matter of it's one thing to be aggressive, but it's another thing to be smart.
Yeah, you don't need to be ready, fire, aim. We got to change that.
I'm gonna hit something.
Right.
Mark, what did you take away from it?
Well, I appreciated his honesty when it came to Kyle Fuller. I thought that was interesting that they said, and it's holding true, that they were looking at every single possibility in terms of Kyle Fuller and ways to bring him back or maybe not bring him back. And then, there was a little bit of a conflicting message because they did mention, okay, there's plenty of good cornerbacks that exist in free agency. There's a couple of talented ones in the draft, and Denzel Ward and Joshua Jackson and Minkah Fitzpatrick from Alabama. So I thought it was interesting that he was very honest about that. And now the idea of getting more weapons for Mitch Trubisky and the fact that wide receiver has been wiped out and trying to figure out where, and obviously he was not going to answer the question of where are you going to get your wide receivers. Is it better to get veteran guys for Mitch Trubisky or to get some of the younger wide receivers in the draft, the Calvin Ridleys, the Cortland Suttons, James Washington, these kind of guys.
Right.
And the answer is yes.
Yeah,
We
probably.
need them both.
You need them both, right. And now I guess Allen Robinson is standing now that Jarvis Landry is gone. So it's going to be, because Mitch Trubisky has to succeed, you have to get legit guys to catch the football, to run the football, to do whatever to make Mitch Trubisky look good. So I'm very intrigued to hear that. One other thing I want to say that I took away from that, Matt Nagy, I was nervous for him just because this is his first time.
You were nervous what?
I was nervous for him. Now, I wasn't at Hallis Hall when he was introduced, but I saw it, watched it, and he comported himself very well. But now he's around all the NFL bigwigs. You have a larger pool of reporters. It's this sort of chaotic thing. And he handled himself with a lot of poise, gave great answers. Like, I don't know how often he talked in Kansas City, maybe once a week like the coordinators do here in Chicago, but he had a lot of poise and good answers, and like he seems ready. We have no idea, but he seems ready.
That's actually a really interesting good observation, because thinking about Glennon, what turned out to be the case, the moment was too big for him. He was cowed by the moment. Yeah. It's not for Trubisky. Certain guys, Deshaun Watson, certain guys that they're used to it. And I think Nagy's comfortable. I mean, I'm sure he's not saying to his wife, we're not in Kansas anymore, Toto.
Yeah.
But he wasn't intimidated by it, and maybe that's being around Andy Reid. I think the Andy Reid coaching tree, I like it. I mean, that's one of the things I'm saying. It doesn't make him a great coach, but it says he knows what a great coach should look like.
That's why when you said you were nervous for him, I was like, he comes from a very good background. He comes from a very good style.
You never know. But this was his first time in lights, camera, action with the NFL sort of watching, and he just looked like he had a plan and he was confident. And I have no idea if this translates to him being a good coach, because none of us knows about that. But he at least passed that first test, and I was impressed with it.
Danny, you talk about receiving core. Do you find somebody in the draft? Do you go get a veteran wideout to help Mitch Trubisky? Yes. His name continues to surface. Kevin White. Seems like they still want to give him an opportunity to see if he can produce at this level, despite the injuries.
It doesn't hurt to have him around. I mean, when you have nobody, you don't leave any stone unturned.
But he's around.
But there's a difference.
And it does hurt. Bad choice of words.
It's good with his shirt off.
It hurts him. But when you have pretty much nothing, I mean, it's just another option.
They tried the Victor Cruz thing last year.
But you can't depend. Well, there are options and then there are bad options. But just having him there is one thing. Relying on him, expecting he's the guy. No, that ship has sailed. He's there
and the
as part of the discussion.
Two of those. I mean, my heart goes out to him. I think he's a good kid. I mean, he has potential. I don't think he's as good. I've heard people say even when he was healthy, he was not wowing. And I can speak having seen him practice.
Right.
He wasn't as fast as he, right?
He's not just one of those guys. He's not one of those guys that you say, "Whoa, who is that?" If he were in a plain white shirt, who's that guy? And he's not that guy yet. But to your point, though, he's in the final year of his rookie deal. You've got to keep him around to go to camp. But can you count on him? No, and I would even hesitate to keep him around. He's got to show me durability, and I'd play him through the fourth preseason game. Because if he's going to break,
right?
Because 2 of the 3 years it was in the season,
right,
where something happened. So you could say, well, it looks like he's over it now. And then the third game, and again, to me, it's not soft tissue stuff. It's the broken bones, clavicle.
Right.
Yeah, he's not a malingerer. I don't know, but how much can you count on him? I wouldn't at all.
From what you just described, he doesn't put you in the mind of. Remember David Terrell when he was playing at that school up north. He was fantastic. He gets to the next level, and it's like he can't even run a route properly.
Yeah.
Are you sensing the same with Kevin White if he stays healthy?
No, it's a different mentality. Again, I was around David. David had gotten by at that school up north because my daughter's at Ohio State, so we're not talking about the maize and blue or whatever that is.
Whatever it is.
Those guys.
Those guys, them guys. Terrell had gotten by so much on athleticism,
right?
And he was always able to he's 6'3". David looked the part, and he could actually out physical any receiver and go up and get it. Well, now he was playing against the Richard Shermans and the guys who are just as tough as he is. And the point was he didn't work his craft to get better. I don't see that with Kevin White. Nobody's working harder. I think David Terrell had more talent. as it's more athletic, just athletic looking. Again, not that Kevin. Sorry, Kevin, you look great. But again, there was a mentality that went into the way Terrell didn't do. That's why I would hold out some hope that Kevin, because nobody works harder. This kid is he's out there with Trubisky and California running around. He's probably playing sand football, whatever. Again, this is a guy I want to see succeed. He's a good kid, involved with some community stuff nobody knows about. Really on the up. But if I'm the Bears, okay, you probably keep 6 receivers, we'll say. Well, he's not going to help me on special teams.
Right.
You don't want to risk him on special teams if he's...
Right, a little brittle, but how would you... This may be a very difficult roster decision looking ahead to like September.
Well, yeah, and the wide receiver situation was so tricky last year because of the Kevin White injury, because Marcus Wheaton didn't work out last year for the Bears for all practice. At the end of the day, you had Kendall Wright and Dontrell Inman as your guys.
Yeah. But but think about how good going into camp the wide receiver situation looked like. Again, we didn't know what was going to happen. Victor Cruz, Ruben Randall was a second-round draft choice. Kendall Wright, who's a 1. Kevin, you didn't know what was going to happen with him.
Right.
Cam Meredith coming off a 66-catch year. The irony of how bad it became was how good it looked.
Right.
And
you drafted a tight end in Adam Shaheen in the second round. You thought, maybe.
I thought that was a bad move.
Well, I mean,
I thought that was a bad move,
and I think a lot of people do. But you know what? That still has to work. I mean, we talk about Mitch Trubisky having to work. Your second round pick has to work out and be an impact player as well.
Yeah. And they still had Zach Miller too.
And then when I got Deion Sims,
Sims is still alive.
Right.
He was sick a lot of the year, more than people realize, but we'll see.
Right. Hey, real quick before we take a time out, Kyle Fuller gets the franchise tag. Is that a good move?
A transition, but yes, it is. In fact, it's funny because a couple of years ago, I knew within the organization they didn't want to use the transition on Alshon Jeffrey because they didn't want somebody else to set the price. Now they're saying, well, we don't know what he's worth it here. We'll keep you for 11. Anybody else want to make a run at it? I actually think it was okay to do that. I don't think he was worth the franchise tag. I don't know.
Because he's so hard to evaluate.
You
know what I mean?
Like
he was good in his rookie year, maybe above good last year, and then he had an injury year and a not so good year. So I think the Bears know what they have, but the NFL probably looks at him and say,
Right.
You know?
Right.
Now, apparently his mood improved with him playing golf with Vic Fangio, so maybe, I don't know. Maybe Vic wants to keep him around and he can take money off him.
Magical Vic. All right.
And, of course, Matt Forte, our good friend, is hanging it up and saying, hey, after 10 years, it's time to...
one of the best all-around backs
unbelievable
we've had.
guy.
I think got underappreciated because so much was overshadowing it, but that is one of the professionals. And a guy who, and you look at great athletes, who really changed his game. I remember when Matt was telling me he started running the hill, off of 176, the Toboggan Hill or something. You're kind of like Walter did.
Yeah.
And he improved his body. He can play 10 more years. I love a guy who, you don't just rest on what's always worked. Okay, what can I do to get better? And he did that. And one of the best combination runner, kind of in the Walter tradition. I'm a guy who could give you 100 catches if you need it, or give you 100 yards if you needed it in any game.
He was like the more polished Neil Anderson. And Neil Anderson was a terrific running back as well.
And a great peanut farmer, too, by the way.
Well, really? I didn't know that. He was the Jimmy Carter style.
Yeah, Neil, no tag days for Neil. He's done he's done very good.
You know, the thing about Forte, too, is, I'm sorry, Danny, nobody, and I just think about this from the perspective of the Bears fans, nobody ever really got excited about Matt Forte. It was like, what's Forte going to do today? Like, people were walking into Soldier Field thinking, but as Moon said, he was and sometimes players don't like to hear this, but he was the essence of a professional football player who was going to give you a terrific game every time he went out there, even if teams weren't game planning for him, even if he wasn't the crowd pleaser, he was terrific.
Yeah. What happened to that team?
I think he wasn't that flamboyant. I think
that's part of it.
But to me, he was in the Barry Sanders mold of, you get to the end zone, flip the handball to the ref, and say, I'll be back again. I love end zone celebrations. I love them. And some of the choreographed stuff, I love that they started allowing that. But I also respect somebody who just gives the last, I'll be back.
Yeah, act like you've been there.
But that Matt
do your thing. What's natural to you? Him doing a touchdown dance probably wouldn't.
No,
not saying he's going to do
it. Matt would have been a waltz, I think.
Yeah.
But it would have been
classy.
Yeah.
And before we say goodbye, we have to say, condolences out to the Getney family. Chris Getney, unbelievable, 47 years of age, passing away.
I don't know the cause yet, but I remember him being the third-round draft choice. Poor guy. I remember when he had plantar fasciitis, and they had he was on steroids, and I mean the guy had a rough go, but you couldn't ask for a better teammate. And it's a shame. That's one of those guys you really want to see him make it.
Yeah.
47 was
Really.
it?
Yeah.
47.
Yeah. Just very, very disappointing.
Yeah.
It was disheartening news to hear, but it is life, and you got to keep rolling.
Somebody is going to come for all of us.
Yeah. Real quick before we break, what happened with that team? You had Matt Forte. You had was it Martellus Bennett, Brandon Marshall?
Yeah.
And who was on the other? Alshon Jeffrey, Cutler. What happened with that team?
Well,
They had one of
the defense happened. Part of it. I mean, Mel Tucker's defense was bad, and then it was terrible, and then it got worse. But because they were 8-8, but they were still at 8-6. All they needed was to win one of those last two games.
Conti?
Well, yeah, but
That's
he's
a
going
different
to get
season,
blamed for
yeah.
that. But I think that's a great. People who want to be apologists for Cutler's Hill, he never had the weapons. Wait a minute.
yeah.
They gave him everything he wanted.
Those guys. You and I could win 8 games with that.
They were
bunch.
projected, if it got the best offense in the league, one of the top
30 points a game.
Yeah.
And I think it's interesting. The quirkiness of Mark Trestman overshadowed, and I think there was a hint of that coming in. I think there's a real buzz around Matt Nagy, where he comes from, and he's an offensive guy. It's a different buzz. I mean, there was a lot of that. I think there was a lot of Lovey fatigue. I thought he was one of the best coaches they've ever had, obviously.
Yeah.
But okay, here comes a new guy. Well, he's an offensive guy. There's going to be a new game in town. It was too quirky. There was something just off with that organization. And again, I'm not going to fault any of those offensive guys because the problem was, they scored 30 a game. They're giving up 32 a game.
Yeah.
But I think that's what really happened. But still, there was something that just never. The engine never turned over. I think there were too many me guys. And Cutler being one of those. I mean, obviously you could say Bennett and Marshall turned out to be a little bit that way. But if you can all play, you should still be able to.
Exactly.
Yeah, even though
Figure it out for
you're
3
right, you
hours.
can argue
Exactly.
over the toys in the sandbox, but we're going to build a hell of a castle here. But they didn't do it.
The ridiculous irony, too, is that the last time the Bears had a 500 season was under Mark Trestman. The last winning season was under Lovie Smith. And John Fox was supposed to clean it all up. Yeah.
He cleaned it up for the next guy.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see.
Maybe.
I got to ask you, Trubisky, real quick. Does he have the traditional sophomore year? Or is he working hard enough during this offseason, from what you know, that he can make the next leap?
I think the work ethic will triumph here. So many of those sophomore slumps also tend to happen under the same coach. Now, again, we can say, well, he's going to change coaches. There's going to be a step back. I don't think with this group there's going to be. I think this is an offensive staff. They kept Dave Ragone as a QB coach. He's got a support system the way Wentz did in Philadelphia. I don't see there'll be a slump.
Okay,
I don't think people saw it. I think his arrows going like this. I see work ethic. I see him out with Kevin White. I see him working with Jared Goff. There's such a push to get better.
Yeah.
And that's what I want. If you have that, I can work with that. And
I don't think he was good enough in his rookie year to qualify for the sophomore slump. To be honest.
After only playing 13 games in college in North Carolina. Technically, last year was his sophomore year, right?
Yes, you can say that. Yeah, I mean, people forget that. You're drafting, trading up to get a guy with 13. I mean, I think still again.
Yeah.
I'm a Deshaun Watson guy.
Yeah.
In fact, I went Deshaun Watson to date my
It just
daughter.
makes
That's
no
the guy
sense.
I went in my family.
I don't want to revisit that.
You know what
Brody.
the answer to the question you asked Moon is Mitch Trubisky has to be better next year.
Right.
I'm not because he was horrible last. Like I'm not saying he was bad at all, but he was the number 2 pick in the draft. He is the guy that behind whom all the marbles are for Ryan Pace.
Yeah.
He has to be good. That's the answer.
But if it's not, it'd be interesting. You almost see the storylines. There's going to be a lot of, it's a new coaching staff. He's going to get a pass.
Yeah.
No, son.
No.
You need to go like this.
Yeah.
And the guy you're getting in here, you've got some of the same coaches, maybe the defensive staff. So you're working with the foundation here. You got a top 15 defense. They're going to get you the ball a little more often. Yeah, if he backslides, I think you're going to start hearing the rhymes with must or trust or if he slides, you're going to start with. There's going to be whispers.
Rhymes with John Theory.
There you go.
Anybody?
Not the QB whisperer,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
whispers. He's
Yeah.
John Moon Mullen, NBC Sports Chicago. Mark Grody, WSCR, the Score Sports Radio 670, WBBM Bears pre and post sideline reporter. Looking forward to it. Hey guys, thank you so very much for coming on out. We love you guys. Always a pleasure to have you. And get some grub in your gut, man. I mean, this Sunday brunch here at Serenello's is out of this world. Want you guys to be a part of it too. Again, every Sunday we're here from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. They start at 10. They end at 2. Ladies and gentlemen, keep it locked in. You've got the Rewind Sports 60. Danny Carlino, the Italian Stallion. More coming up right after this.
Hey, great job, guys.
Thank you.
We've been accused of working blue. I guess it's
right. Did you
hit it, guys.
hear the Chris Gedney, how he died?
No, I didn't. I couldn't find a cause.
That's going to be a big year.
Oops, sorry, I'll be right here. Where are we? You in the middle, sir. Okay.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I tell you, the hits just keep coming. If you guys got up, get yourself something to eat, something to drink. You're watching us on YouTube Live. No problem. We're back at it. Again, we'll have an opportunity to talk with the Chicago Highlanders, pipes and drums, in a few. Jeff Harris, Anita Janis, and of course Dan Bro. They're jamming, they're performing, they're getting it done, and they're enjoying the Sunday brunch right here at Serenello's Ristorante Italiano. Kelly, go ahead, give them some Jerry Reynolds.
Hey, you guys got come down here. You gotta get the food. You gotta get the food. It's the brunches, the eggs, the steak. It's all getting here and going. You gotta have fun. You gotta have. These guys are talking to you. It's the fastest 2 hours on sports television.
Take it easy.
Hey, I can't take it easy, all right? I'm excited. I'm pumped. I'm excited. I'm jazzed. I'm pumped. I'm all over the place. All right, you guys know where I am, man. You know where I'm at, huh? Huh? Yeah.
Jerry, your tenure could be short-lived.
Danny Carlino, the Italian Stallion, had to take off. Kelly Lee Williams, he is a comedian, actor, talent here in the Chicagoland area, and our TRS 60 correspondent joining us on the program. My man, you're a pleasure. You're a riot. You're awesome. Folks, he's the best in the business. Let me tell you something. That guy, Tracy Morgan, he's okay. Has nothing on this guy, Kelly Lee Williams. The guy, Chris Rock, he's done well for a living. He's done okay. This guy is the Martin Lawrence, and I'm telling you, this guy right here, Kelly Williams, he's the best in the business, ladies and gentlemen, and you certainly will be hearing more from Kelly Williams, especially when you tune in to the Rewind Sports 60.
20 bucks later, I promise you, I will get you that money.
And of course, we're joined by our IHSA, our high school, just a basketball guru, Dan. Marvelous. Welcome to the program. How are you?
Good. I'm still recovering. It's been quite a week.
It's been quite a week, that's for sure. And Mark, hey, they call it March Madness for a reason. Selection Sunday today, of course.
Oh, yeah.
Selection Sunday. And of course, the man on the street, Marty B in the house. How are you?
Good, terrific, Jerry. Good morning, everyone.
You guys are fantastic, man. So, Danny, let's get started with you as far as high school basketball is concerned. I tell you, a lot of championship games are taking place.
Right.
A lot of excitement. You just talked about this past week.
Well,
Get us up to speed.
Well, to start off with, the small schools are done, the boys. You had the Oars, I predicted, won the 2A, and downstate Oakville won the 1A. And all the small schools get a chance too, so that's a good thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But I was at Maine East this week. It's a gym that seats maybe 1,000 people, and there were 3,000 people there on Friday night.
Yeah, Dan slept at Maine East all week.
Yeah, in fact, I think their cars still parked there. They're parked on people's lawns and everything else. It was unbelievable. But as it turns out, I mean, the punchline is Evanston won the Maine East, Lake Zurich won their Lake Zurich sectional, and they're going to play on Tuesday at Hoffman Estates. But to back up a bit, on Tuesday night, Evanston beat Loyola 61-51, and it was a pretty close game all the way, but Kevin Cunningham got 24 for Loyola, a three-point shooter, and Lance Jones was the big guy for Evanston, as he frequently is with 25. But that takes us to Wednesday. This is a game you've never seen like the likes of. Without a shot clock, the score at halftime was Niles North 33, New Trier 20. And with 10:31 to go in the game, namely 2:31 of the third, the score is 51-29 in favor of Niles North. And they're slowing it down, which maybe wasn't to their benefit, because New Trier then scored 14 straight points. Game went to overtime at 61.
Wow.
And New Trier won in double overtime, 77-72.
Is that right?
Wow. Andrew Kirkpatrick was the key. He scored 21 points. And he was unbelievable in the comeback. They were stealing the ball, and it was just, I was there, and I don't believe it. I mean, no shot clock.
Right.
So, I mean, with 10 minutes left, up by 22, how's that even possible? But
that's crazy.
They apparently had no gas left to do the same thing on Friday, and they lost to Evanston. And it was a pretty close game towards the end. They got it. It was 4-0 New Trier, then it was 10-4 Evanston, and New Trier never got closer than 5 after that. Blake Peters was the three-point specialist, got 19 points. He hardly scored at all when they played earlier in Evanston, but he got 19 points, and he hit 3 threes right away. So it was, they were ahead, and they didn't make the mistake that Niles North made. They kept attacking the basket when they were able to. And Lance Jones got 17, and Jaheim Olden 16, and the big guy, Kieran Brayboy, got 16, and Kirkpatrick another 12. New Trier had 25-6, and Evanston goes on to play Lake Zurich. And some might argue that their sectional might have been tougher than their super sectional, because, for example, Lake Zurich, the number 1 seed, played Barrington in the finals, and Barrington was a 2 seed in that group, and Barrington lost in the championship of the Mid-Suburban to Prospect, who was a 7 seed in Evanston's group. So based upon the numbers, Evanston's going downstate.
Right on.
Right, and the public league is probably going to be dominant this weekend. I would predict that Simeon will win 4A and Morgan Park 3A. Mm-hmm. But the bracketing, the way it is now, I mean, you've still got 8 teams left, so anything's possible. You've got Belleville West, who's a strong downstate team, playing West Aurora.
Right.
You got Elgin Larkin playing Bennett, who's a perennial power. The Lake Zurich Evanston game in 4A, and then Simeon and Young. The Simeon Young winner, odds are is going to win it all, but you never know. And then in the smaller schools in the 3A, Morgan Park has to play North Lawndale. Metamora plays Marion Catholic. Marion plays Springfield Southeast. And North Chicago is going to play Boylan, also over at the Sears Center. It's a doubleheader on Tuesday.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So It starts at 6 with the North Chicago game, and then the Evanston games follows at 7:30-ish.
Which one of these games would you say is the most exciting that people want to pay attention
Simeon Young,
to?
Chicago State. And this was a break for the suburbs, like I mentioned a couple weeks ago, because in the previous 3 to 4 years, the champion, like in Evanston, would have to go to Chicago State and play a Simeon or a Young.
Right.
And this year they got Simeon playing Young right away in the super sectionals, whereas they played for the state championship last year because they were in different brackets.
Sure.
So I would favor Simeon. Evanston's strong, but they have to play Simeon right away in the semifinals if they both advance. So that will be tough. And then the other bracket will be probably Belleville West going down there against maybe Bennett or Larkin. It's hard to say, but that's what's left. And the games will all be televised, so you can watch them this weekend, Friday and Saturday, on the Comcast group. NBC Sports Chicago will be.
NBC Sports Chicago.
Cover it all. All right.
That's you. Okay.
Right on.
Yeah. So that's what's going on with that, and so the season will be over in this weekend, and. I'll phone you from Peoria next Sunday and tell you what happened.
Okay, Danny. All right.
He's Dan Marvelous Marver. I just say guru, basketball guru, and a TRX60 correspondent, talking some hoops, talking some basketball. It is March Madness, ladies and gentlemen. It is Selection Sunday. Marty, any insight as far as what piggybacking off what Danny had to say?
Oh, just that on Tuesday night, from what I understand, there's plenty of seating out at the Sears Center.
Yeah, I mean, it's a 10,000 seat facility. So, I mean, it's general admission, so don't be afraid to go out there. I mean, first come, first served on the seating.
Yeah, and I just hope that game Tuesday between Lake Zurich and Evanston will be a good game, because earlier in the year, Lake Zurich had problems handling the type of style of play that Evanston does.
Sure.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens.
And they don't get much practice at it in their conference.
No, they don't, not at all. So we'll hope it's a good game.
I don't know if you gentlemen, I know you guys are really astute as far as high school basketball is concerned. If you guys had another eye on the college ranks because of course.
Well, I know your next guest is sure going to talk Loyola basketball.
I can tell you, all the bracketing would indicate Loyola's going to be, like they usually are at the Missouri Valley, about an 11 seed, and they're going to probably go to Dallas and play either Texas Christian or Arkansas, based on most of the predictions. They'll be in Michigan's bracket, is what it looks like. Of course, a lot can change today with the games that are played, but these guys, Lenardi and Palm and all the other experts, have them going to Dallas. So we'll see what happens, but they have a chance against anything. I've seen Loyola play, and they're a solid team.
Yeah.
They're going to do.
Yeah, they're very athletic. Yeah. Athleticism is something they haven't had in years.
But you know what I like about that team? They're very well coached. That's the first thing to say, exactly. But what I like is that they have an inside presence as far as their big man is concerned, but they have very good guard play.
Yeah,
and
Custer.
Those are the two factors that you need to go deep in the tournament.
Custer was at Iowa State before he came to Loyola. Right. He's the key to their offense. And the freshman from Jacobs, Krutwig, has been very good down low. So they've got all the pieces. They have Donna Ingram, who was the MVP of the Missouri Valley Conference tournament, a Simeon product.
Right.
And they've got what they need to do to be successful. Sometimes it's tough against the major teams, but
that's true.
But it's just 40 minutes.
and that's exactly right. And you never know. That's why they call it March Madness. That's why they call it the Cinderella story, the whole 9 yards. But what I like about this Loyola basketball team, not only the fact that they have an inside presence with the big man and of course the guard play, but they distribute the ball and they share the ball very, very well. They know where to find the right man at the right time.
Right.
And when you can get up and down the floor like that and execute the way that they have, obviously the record is a reflection of that. I think they can surprise a lot of teams, despite if they're playing a mid-major or if they're playing a major team. They have the composure, I think, to upset some.
When you talk about the coach, Porter Moser was sort of a redemption tour this year. He coached at Illinois State,
Right.
He was fired. Then he went to St. Louis and worked with Rick Majerus, one of the now deceased, one of the great basketball technicians. And I think the Majerus experience really influenced his coaching now.
Sure.
So he's really got it together with this team. This team didn't do well. They moved to the Missouri Valley, and now they're going to be strong for several years. They've got people coming. They've got young people. They're recruiting well. So, I mean, they're recruiting better than DePaul or Northwestern, it looks like to me.
But are we going to see some of the same teams that we always see, the Kansas,
it looks like Kansas
Kentucky?
Kansas will be on a number one line. Kentucky's a little down this year. It looks like a Virginia and a Villanova, those and maybe Xavier, Duke, North Carolina. Some of the blue bloods will be there. But you never know. I mean, every year you got a Gonzaga or somebody like that who sneaks through, and it's possible. But
I think Loyola's going to be the team to sneak through, Kelly.
This year there are no favorites. I mean, let's face it. All teams been to the top 10. Somebody's got a bad loss. All of them. Right. Everybody's got a bad loss. Nobody has proven themselves to be like back in the day when you had Georgetown, you had the clear number one when Duke, when UNLV. These guys were like powerhouses. There are no powerhouses right now. Okay, and I believe Loyola can make at least the Sweet 16 because they can win in the first round and they can surprise wherever they play in the second round because of the way they pass the ball, because of the way it's distributed. But I wish I could be as excited about this season as other seasons, but there is 3 letters that are keeping me from being excited. F, B, I. There is a cloud over this entire season that nobody talks about.
Just forget about it. Enjoy the game.
Yeah,
that's it.
For now.
That's it. But see, that's the problem. Yeah. We do that every year. We know this is happening, and especially with Rick Pitino's antics and what happened with that. It's horrible. And nobody talks about it. Nobody. Louisville has been a top 10 perennial team for years, and it was led by a man who was doing all this really bad stuff.
And what he wasn't doing, he was condoning.
Exactly. What he wasn't doing, he wasn't condoning. And he wasn't the only coach. And we know that.
And that's the point. That's
we
the
know
point.
that.
And if you got high caliber, it's kind of, I chalk it up, it's kind of like, and we talk, it's an election year,
right?
A governor's race. I chalk it up like Blagojevich. They say, hey, you want to step out, you want to flex your muscles? Well, we'll teach you a lesson.
Right on.
We're not going to just smack you on the wrist. You're going to the pokey, and you're gonna be made an example of. I think that's what they did with Rick Pitino.
No, they did not. They pretty much just stopped him from getting his $31 million for now. But as an example, no, he's still sitting out there just waiting for something to happen.
No, because look, you're talking about Kentucky, John Calipari.
Yes.
Do you know why he reeled back? Because he was getting the blue chippers the one and dones every single year. He starts seeing that, hey, they're stiffing up Rick Pitino's Heine. They're going to start knocking on my door, looking at me, wondering what I'm doing. I better reel this thing back into play. You got Mike Krzyzewski. You got all these high-caliber coaches.
Tom Izzo, Bruce Pearl,
for years.
Miller in Arizona.
Arizona, yes.
There are too many of these guys making seven figures
and not having any accountability of the players that they bring in, of the programs that they're overseeing.
That's not their job. Their job is to win. Their job is to bring revenue to the university, and their job is to remain high profile. That's their job.
But they're still teachers. They're supposed to be teachers, aren't they? Above all, they're supposed to take care of these kids, and nobody's doing that.
They aren't taking care of these kids. These kids are coming here to play basketball, and they want to go pro.
But
they say, you come to our program, you're going to play basketball, you're going to be on the national stage every given 2-3 days a week, and you're going to go play in the National Basketball Association. Is that what you want? Yes, sir. Then let's go.
Well, then that needs to be reevaluated, because we have the #1 NBA player, LeBron James, with 2 kids of college age saying the NCAA is corrupt. I mean, when the best player of the NBA says that out loud with no remorse, there's a problem. Because everybody's listening to this. Yes.
Well, wait a minute. You know what? And I don't. LeBron James, as you guys know, if you've been following me and watching the program, I don't blow a horn for LeBron James. When you tell me you're a sophomore in high school and ESPN is broadcasting your games and you're talking about corruption, hello. Anybody home? Hello?
He was a sophomore in high school, and that was a problem too. Broadcasting a sophomore in high schools, that was a big problem too. And it needs
corruption as well.
It all needs to be taken care of. It all needs to be
I don't want to hear LeBron.
That was LeBron's fault.
But I don't want to hear him coming up and saying, "Hey, the NCAA is corrupt."
Why not? He was right there, and he knows where the body's buried, because how much money did every team offer LeBron James before he went into the NBA?
How much money did he take?
He probably didn't. Hey, did he take any? Do we know that? Well, let's find out.
I remember his mom had an $80,000 Hummer before he even graduated.
Exactly, and that's part of the problem too.
So, but LeBron needs to keep his mouth shut.
No, because he was one of those kids that was taking advantage of.
What did that young lady say?
He was
hey man, go play some basketball. That's what we want to hear. We don't want to hear your political angles and what you think is right and wrong.
I do.
Just go shoot.
I do, because we need a Jim Brown, we need a Bill Russell, we need a comedian like Bill Jerome. We need athletes to speak up and finally make some sense and make some social change. We got to affect it, because it's just too much right now. Take it easy.
Yeah, take it easy.
Take
it easy.
This stuff's been going on probably.
Right, but it's come to a head.
It's come to a head like anything else. You don't do anything wrong till you're caught.
And a lot of them are going to get caught. That's the whole thing. A lot of them.
But in the meantime, buddy, try to enjoy the game.
I'm trying.
March Madness Election Sunday. Believe me. And I guarantee you, if he had gone to the collegiate ranks,
he would have been a millionaire.
He would have been some stuff under the table.
Absolutely.
And he would have taken it.
Yes. And that's the problem too.
Right?
That's the problem too. That has to stop.
Nobody's feeling anything.
Pay the players. Pay the players. Give them stipends. It's time. It's time. It's way past time.
I think we're going to see. I think it's going to come.
It has to. Because it's
We've been talking about it for years, but it's going to happen.
It can't.
It has to.
How are you gonna do that?
Yes, you bring up a good point too. It has to be, but how are you going to do it?
If I play at a top 5 conference, how do you differentiate from a mid-major?
Well, we'll have to figure it out, but it has to be done.
They are getting tuition.
The tuition's tuition. I mean, come on, they're not getting. Yeah, they're getting room and board for what? For playing basketball, not for learning. They're not learning. They're not being forced.
But that's their problem, though.
And that's their
fault.
That's the systematic issue, isn't it? It's a systematic failure of the kids. It's a systemic failure, and these failures keep perpetuating year after year. And we got a bunch of
he's on fire.
Ex-collegiate kids that are doing nothing with their lives and watching these kids today and wishing they could talk to them now. and say, watch your back.
Tell us how you really feel.
Yeah.
Sorry. When we're doing comedy before.
Okay. Don't pay the players. Don't pay the players, all right?
Okay.
That's how it's always been.
Pay
It's
the
always been.
players. Pay the players.
See, right there.
That's
Keep it locked in.
Right over here.
Andre Wakefield.
Well, Andre, we're going to take a break, man.
Hey, yes.
Come on in
You
here.
never got paid.
Come on in. Let's get the bagpipes and then we'll get Andre Wakefield coming in. Folks, keep it locked in. You got the rewind. You guys ready?
Everybody get paid. You won't have to get no cheap.
Great job, sir. Thank you.
Y'all did a great job.
You're terrific.
Oh my God.
Gosh, no, I thought.
His mother went to the bank. She was homeless. They wouldn't give her nothing. She went outside. They did this. She went outside. There's a T-shirt with this picture on it. They sold out whole free in Ohio for the high school. She was homeless.
Chris Ferrugia showed me this real funky way that you
She came to them. She made some T-shirts. They told her, Nike, you got to sell no T-shirts. Oh, you trying to tell me I can't sell my food?
Right.
So they wouldn't give her no credit. So she did. She went to the bank. She did like that so she could have.
Ready?
No. They gave her what she wanted. This she bought him. The first thing she asked for a couple $100,000. I remember her humble.
Hey guys, welcome back. You got the Rewind Sports 60. Yours truly, Jerry Riles. Come on in here real quick. Broadcasting YouTube live, streaming live on YouTube, broadcasting from Serenello's Restaurante Italiano right here in Wheeling. Come on over here, guys. Don't be shy. I won't bite you unless you ask me to. Come on over here. We're here with Jeff Harris, Anita Janice, and of course Dan Brill of the Chicago Highlanders. How you guys doing?
Very well.
You guys sounding great. Fantastic. Thank you so very much. Come on in here so the fine folks can see you. Thanks for coming down. We're celebrating St. Patrick's Day here at Serenello's, and of course, bagpipes. You guys look fantastic.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about the Chicago Highlanders. Dan, we'll start with you.
The Chicago Highlanders is one of the oldest pipe bands, continual civilian pipe bands in the States. Founded in 1921, we're still here going strong in 2018. Thanks to all of our great sponsors and opportunities like this. We enjoy playing for our family and friends and new friends, and that's what keeps us going. We do compete in the Midwest Pipe Band Association circuit, and you can see us on parade at various St. Patrick's Day parades, Memorial Day parades. Keep an eye out for us. ChicagoHighlanders.org is our website.
There you go. There you go. And Anita, how long have you guys been together? You said 1920... 21. Yes. How long have you been together with
I joined
these
a little bit after that, so.
I think it was way more after that.
I've been with the band about 15 years.
That's amazing. Thank you.
Thank you very
That's
much.
awesome.
Thank you
there
very
you
much.
go.
You're awesome.
Thank you, brother.
It's a great group. I wouldn't have been there for 15 years if I didn't think so. The pipers and the drummers are just awesome. It's like extended family. And I mean, Sunday morning we have an opportunity will come here because we enjoy the music and the camaraderie and everything so much.
And so, what is how many members do you guys currently have, and what's the alumni base like? I would ask.
Oh, the alumni base is pretty huge.
You can imagine
over the years.
Hundreds.
Right now, there's about 16 of us on pipes and drums, drums of different sorts. What Dan plays is called the side drum.
Okay.
We also have tenor drummer and bass drummer, and then of course us pipers.
Okay.
And, we all work together, and to make our music.
How do you get into the idea of wanting to to play the pipe?
I think you gotta hate yourself. It's a punishment. No, it's a lot of fun. For me, myself, I can remember seeing the Royal Stuart kilt when I was about 5 years old in a parade, thinking, someday I want to do that. And about 10 years ago, I got into it, and here I am now.
Is it difficult, Anita, to learn how to play?
It is, and it's been more than one occasion when I'm thinking I should have learned to play the piccolo. But it takes your whole being. So once you're done, it's really rewarding and fulfilling. And when you are in a group too, it's a great feeling.
How would you equate it? What is it like similar to what my daughter's thinking, my son, they play the trumpet, and
when you first learn, we have students too that we teach. You just have the bottom part. It's not the whole bag. It has a mouthpiece. It's called a chanter. So you can learn the nuances of the fingering and learn to play. Cause we memorize all our music, so you can learn that. And then when you feel like I'm really in for it, then you can buy the whole set, and we'll teach people corking off the drones one at a time till they get the breathing down.
Corking off the what?
These are called the drones.
Drones?
Yeah, and you can cork them off.
Not those kind, these kind.
Yeah.
Well, we see those though.
We have had drones take cameras, movies of our drones.
Okay.
As we're on parade.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it just takes a lot of gumption to stay with it.
Yeah,
Anybody could learn to play them. It just takes perseverance.
Okay.
It's not like another instrument. It's pretty unique in its own right, but anybody who has the tenacity, it takes about a year till you can get on a full set. But as long as you have the desire, anybody can do it.
No, it looks, sounds fantastic. It looks very, very interesting, but it looks like it takes a little bit of time, practice, and some skill there.
Well, when you're with a group of people that also put in the time and the practice and the dedication that inspires one another to keep at it, and when that band starts to gel and you get that sound going, that's the real reward. And then we get to go out and perform for the people. You want to play well for each other, you want to play well for yourself, and ultimately you want to play well for your audience.
Yeah.
That's the real payoff, So as we discuss sports teams here, we're a team as well, just with this music, but it's the same drive and passion. It becomes a way of life outside of just a hobby after a while,
How many gigs would you say you guys perform over a year's time?
With parades too?
Sure.
And that little one's like 20?
I'd say that's a very safe number. 20 is a safe.
Is that right?
Safe.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
usually more though. But things pop up.
I had an opportunity to hear you guys perform at the recent Harley-Davidson Firefighters Cook-Off in Glenville/Northbrook, and you guys are fantastic. I think the whole team was there at that time, right?
Most of us.
Yeah, and it was phenomenal. You guys did an incredible job, and I've always been intrigued, especially this time of year with the bagpipes and everything, because it just brings life to the event or the environment that you're in, and you guys certainly do that. Again, thank you guys so much for coming on. We'll get you guys back out before we say goodbye. You guys want to give us one more quick tune before we move on?
One more song.
There you go. The Chicago Highlanders, folks. There you go.
Freedom! Sorry. Let me take our eggs, Benedict, but they will never take our freedom!
Gotta be in uniform, very important.
Green Hills Battle.
All right.
And right. Quick. Mark.
Chicago Highlanders.
You guys are awesome.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you, brother.
We'll get one more tune before we're out of here.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Guys, welcome back to Rewind Sports 60 to Chicago Highlanders. They're getting it done, taking care of business. We appreciate them. And the hits just keep coming. March Madness, come on over here, Selection Sunday. We're joined by Loyola Ramblers' very own Andre Wakefield joining us back in the day.
Great to meet you, sir.
My man, welcome. And thank you for joining us on the Rewind Sports 60. Of course, Kelly Lee Williams, a part of the team here at TRS 60. And Andre, man, this is an exciting time. You've got to be a proud alum of the Loyola Ramblers. This basketball team's playing very well, going to the tournament for the first time in what, like 33 years?
37 years.
Yeah.
Anytime you go to a university, you see a team playing, you hope your school out there playing.
Yep.
Because everybody talk about their university and all this, and I'm so happy now that a lot of them finally made it to the tournament, because they always talk about Illinois or Northwestern or DePaul, but they don't mention Loyola that much no more. And I'm so happy they made the tournament.
Yes.
Yeah.
And, they win one round or two. The most important thing, they made it this year, and they could recruit more.
Mm-hmm. It's very important to hear the name Loyola. I mean, when I was growing up, it was DePaul, it was Loyola, it was UIC. They had the good teams, they got the good recruits, and they actually they would go maybe win a tournament game every once in a while.
Right.
But like 30 years since the Loyola's been in there.
Right. And it was fortunate. Excuse me. It was fortunate because when we won it back then, we had all Chicago players.
Right.
We went to the west side, the south side, the north side. We took every player that wanted to come to Loyola. They wouldn't be no superstar. We just took ball players that wanted to work hard and play hard, and we gave them a chance to show their talent.
Yeah.
And we were fortunate that we had Alfred Hughes, Andre Moore, Andre Battle from Simeon.
Yeah.
So we have players that represent Chicago, and the city got behind us because everybody from Chicago knew them.
Yeah.
Playing the public league. Catholic kid, we had Mike Senoff from the Loyola Academy.
Yes.
We had some great players. We had Jerry Munt. We had some players that they were from the South, from the North Suburban, and we won that crowd with us, and the guys responded.
Yeah, Andre Battle, he grew up a couple blocks away from me, and Carl Gogo Goldstein. It was DePaul had their guys,
right?
But Loyola, they say, hey, wait a minute, we can play some basketball too. And it was a breath of fresh air, because you're absolutely right. Not only when you're watching the tournament, you want to see your particular school, but when you see a homegrown school and your homegrown homies on television playing on the big stage, it means and says a lot, man. What is it? Have you had an opportunity to check out this year's team and talk with the coaching staff? What is it about this team that makes them so special?
Well, they went out and found players. They got athleticism. Last year I watched them, they were just making backdoor cuts and trying to make the layup.
Right.
This year when they backdoor, they dunking it. And that's a whole different dimension.
Right.
I watched them play UIC, they must have had about 40 points from the backdoor. And these players play defense, they hustle, and they bought into what Mosey was talking about. They playing as a team. So when you play as a team, and I know you the star, like on this show, I know you the star, you the co-star, then you know your role.
Right.
Everybody can still be a star because you got fans come see you personally too.
Right.
And once you know how we could work together, and we're on a common goal, and that's what them guys did.
Yeah.
Moving it back door, man. That's how Princeton would win every once in a while their first round games and all, because they would hustle and outplay fundamental basketball. That's what has been, I think that's really lacking today.
Right.
I mean, these days in the college game right now, because everybody's like, let's try to get to the NBA. We got to go do our isolation. We got to be the star. And there's no team. But now there is Loyola showing the team concept and getting to the tournament using that concept.
Hopefully, they're playing great ball.
Yes, I will. That's the team that should make it. If they make it to the Sweet 16, maybe we'll start talking about fundamentals again.
All we got to do is win 2 games.
Well, the one thing about fundamentals, you make a very valid point, Kelly. The one thing about fundamentals, unfortunately, I watched Duke, North Carolina, and the first 5 minutes of the game, they were running up and down the court, running up and down the court. But the reason being is because that's the style of play
in the NBA. Exactly.
That's what they want to see, the running gun. They want to see the point score. And so these kids in the collegiate level are conditioning themselves so that they can transition, in my opinion,
to the
next
NBA,
level.
right.
So that's where you lose the fundamentals.
Well, you know, your
as far as the game
opinion is right, because why would I go to Duke in North Carolina if I don't want to go to the NBA?
Right.
And they playing the NBA style ball.
Right.
Kentucky, NBA style ball. You know, I watched Virginia last night.
Yep.
They played defense.
Yep.
They stopped all that.
That was a good game.
That was a great game because defense always wins.
Yep.
Football, I never play football, but I know football.
Right.
You hit somebody hard enough, and it's cold out there, he don't want to keep getting hit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But it was a fantastic game last night.
Yeah.
And they stopped that running. You know, Virginia stopped North Carolina from running.
Yes.
And so that's what he was talking about. Now, them guys in Virginia might not make the NBA or not, but they play a team game.
Right. Right.
Like Loyola.
Right.
No, you got some guys on that Virginia team. They'll be playing in the big
That's true.
league. They will be. Yeah.
They're gonna have a few. But you know North Carolina got 4 or 5.
Yeah.
You know Duke got 4 or 5.
Right.
But the other guys from Virginia, they might not go to the NBA, but they play hard.
Yeah.
And the teams like Virginia, like Loyola, those are the ones that are going to be surprised in the top 10s, the number 2s, number 3 seeds in this year's tournament. I think there's going to be a lot more upsets than ever before.
You know, and you're right. You know, Loyola remind me of the old Butler team. Like
Yes.
that.
Oh yeah.
Butler.
They playing like that. They 6'5", 6'6" across.
Right.
And they always interchangeable. They all sticking. They can stick any position.
2-3 years together, continuity, the
Right.
same defense, the same, and yes, and they know each other.
And then they happy playing with each other. And I watched that when I came. I went to 3 games. They was happy. And that's a key.
That's a huge
that's
key.
That's a key, man.
You're talking about the Loyola.
The
Rams.
Believing in
Rams,
themselves.
right. Yeah, I watched them. They played happy, even though they had a couple players got hurt early in the year. That beast came out. They got together and they worked hard. I don't know each one of them personal, but this year I was happy to be part of Loyola. I said, man,
There you go.
I stuck my chest out.
There you go.
I rolled my Loyola shirt a few times.
And it's about time we could talk about an Illinois team going to the tournament and not going, well, they're
You
not
know
gonna
what?
be
That's the and Loyola Ramblers. What was the 63 teams? The only
63
team to
national
win.
champions.
Yeah, the
Yep.
national champ. The only team in the state of Illinois to win a NCAA championship game. It's unbelievable. Does that surprise you? Being a hotbed as far as basketball is concerned, the city of Chicago, with all the talent that's in the city, does it surprise you that we only have one banner as far as the state is concerned?
Oh yeah, it's very surprising because look all the talent that came out of Illinois. Isaiah, Mark Aguirre, you got Sonny Parker, Mickey Johnson. You could just start naming them. You know, that Derrick Rose.
Yes, sir.
You know, you had a guy, the kid went from Farrakhan, all them guys, Just imagine they could have went to one of them, a few of them went to DePaul or Loyola or Northwestern. Then you got a whole different situation. So like all the
Think
schools.
about the kids out here, like Tommy Kleinsman. Right?
Hey, John Sider.
Yeah.
He came out of it. So you got players that DePaul, Lord, they missed them. They didn't come out and fight. It's like dating a woman.
Right.
Oh.
You got to go date her. You got to get that player and you got to show him.
You got to wine and dine.
You got to wine and dine.
And the coaches as well. I mean, Ray Meyer, when he was there, he got the players. He was going to the NCAA tournament all the time. Like Mark Aguirre, I was personal friends with the family of Mark Aguirre and Raymond McCoy. He was also one of those films as well.
From Bloom?
Yes, sir. I'm from Bloom as well. So that's
I know Raymond McCoy.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
And seeing those teams and Loyola and even Notre Dame. I know they were Indiana, but they were part of our system as well because we had players from Chicago going down to Notre Dame as well, like David Rivers and all these. But now today, they're really. I don't know if there's enough recruiting being done by the college basketball coaches in this state.
But they got rules and all this.
But so do the others.
Yes. But
so do the
what?
other teams.
I found out because I go to a high school game, and I'm sitting there. I say the same thing you saying to yourself. I see North Carolina sitting in the stand.
Right.
I see Duke sitting in the stand. I don't see DePaul. I don't see
University of Illinois.
I don't see none of that.
But that's the whole point. If you want to get to the NBA, you said it earlier.
Right.
You're gonna go to North Carolina. You're gonna go to Duke. You're gonna go to those. You're gonna go to Kentucky. You're gonna go to those schools with those coaches that almost as a pipeline to get you to the next level.
And that's why you go get those players like Butler gets, the 6'5", the 6'6", the all-around players. They're not superstars, but when you put 5 of them on the same court, they're going to be doing great things. Yeah. That's what Chicago teams should be. That's what Illinois teams should be doing, but they're not doing that.
And that's what that's what Chicago made of. We made of that fight, that roughness. The west side and south side is like the steel mill. You get some players out there that we pick a full court, we're aggressive like Marshall, Simeon, all those teams play physical, Now our college teams don't play that way.
Nope.
So you know,
a lot of European stuff, that teardrop stuff. I'm like, get the dunk the ball.
That's where the game is
Dunk the
evolving
ball.
to now. It's
Yeah.
just evolving to that.
And that's not good.
No.
So as far as you see this tournament is concerned, we all hope that Loyola is a dark horse. We all
Sweet
hope
16,
that Loyola
at least.
is a Sweet 16,
At
a
least.
Cinderella story. Do you see any other dark horses in this tournament? And do you think the favorites will shine, such as a Virginia?
Well, but Virginia do something a lot of teams can't do.
Which is?
Defense.
Yes.
You know, they deny. See, they ain't just playing defense. They deny their wing. If I stop the point guard from passing over here,
right,
then he got to go over that way. Then the time is coming off their clock.
Right.
See, it's, you know, so they play D. Everybody else that you catch the ball play defense. Virginia don't let you catch the ball. They don't let you make the triple threat move. They don't let you bounce it. They make you fight for everything you get. And so I even watched Villanova. But if I had to pick a team right now, the way they play,
Villanova will be the one.
it'd be Villanova and
Absolutely.
Virginia.
Is that okay? Okay.
Because
All right.
they've done it
play
before.
both
I mean,
and they play both ends of it.
and yes.
Hey, before we let you go on, Andre Wakefield, former guard playing with the Loyola Ramblers. The Ramblers making it to the tournament, the big dance for the first time in 33 years. Going to be interesting to follow this team. Were you surprised with the firing of Kevin Ali with the University of Connecticut?
Yes, I was. Matter of fact, I called my friend Ricky Greenland, and I called a couple other ball players. I said,
Wait, you friends with Ricky Green?
Oh, that's my guy. We played with Detroit Pistons together.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to call Ricky to go on the show.
Well, tell him to come on the show.
Hey, Rick, I'm going to call you,
Rick,
and you're going to be on the show.
Let me tell you
I got
something, man.
Lord Batts, one of the greatest players, came out of Cincinnati.
Yeah.
And broke most Oscar Robertson record. He's one of the greatest guys. You got a lot of players around here in the city.
Yes.
They love to come on your show.
Let's get it.
And I'm going to make sure that I'm going to tell the guys that
the Rewind Sports 60.
Boom!
Right here. But I love Ricky Green.
Oh, that's my guy.
I love Ricky Green.
Man, Ricky, fantastic.
He's one of the he's one of the greatest, in my opinion, one of the greatest guards of all time. The guy was unbelievable.
I would hate to stick him. Because he had that first step.
Dude, he was, well, you know, he was something else. I love Ricky
Green.
So
you got a lot of Sonny Parker still coming
through.
My friend.
How's he doing?
Sonny's doing great. You know, he's doing great.
Okay.
Matter of fact, I see him a lot. Nicky Johnson.
Yeah.
So all these guys, you know, Mickey's running for office and stuff like that.
Well, let's get it, Mickey.
Yeah, Mickey,
let's do this.
Let's go talk about it.
These guys love to do this, and they watch sports all the time.
Yeah. Well, definitely, since it's March Madness, let's touch base and let's see if we can work something out, man, and get these guys back on. Because you know what? A lot of us, you know, either we grew up watching them or we wanted to emulate our game off of watching them. And these are guys that this generation need to know.
I know. And you know, it's a friend of mine let me tell y'all something before y'all get off there. Emmett Bryant.
Right on.
You know Emmett Bryant?
Emmett Bryant.
Emmett Bryant played with the Boston Celtics. Won a championship with Bill Russell. I played ball with him. He's 80 years old on Sundays.
Really?
He might do a little quick, slow move.
Yeah.
But the idea, the knowledge he brings, I just come just to talk to him. Emmett Bryant went to DePaul, played at DePaul, and he got the NBA championship ring. He's running around the city. He loved to come on your show.
This is the
people. I call him Unc. I'm gonna call Unc and tell Unc, y'all hear
tell
the show.
Tell Unc to come out.
Unc got story because
Come
he
on
played
out,
with
Unc.
Bill Russell.
Yeah.
He played with the Knicks, and you know I'm telling you, he's a legend. And see, a lot of people they forget these legends.
Sure. Yes.
Because I wouldn't be playing if it wasn't for them kind of guys.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? These guys inspired me at the King Boys Club, Martin Luther King, Old Town Boys Club. But these guys in the city, and they still do a lot of volunteer work, but it would be something to have them on the show because they got followers. You know, Emmett Brown, great guy.
Yeah.
Let's give him some props.
You know, it's interesting because
I'm gonna make sure.
When I met Bill Russell, he came to the station. Mark Brody, WSER The Score, when I was over there. Yeah. But Bill Russell, we had him at the station, right? And you know, everyone knows that Bill Russell does not sign any autographs.
Right.
Does not sign, right? So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna challenge this guy. I'm gonna get him to sign. So I got my basketball, man, and I you know, Bill he's cool. He's, you know,
right.
And I get my ball and everything with my little Sharpie. I go, Mr. Russell, is it okay if I can get you just to autograph my? The guy looked at me like I was an alien.
Yeah.
He looked at me like, he's like, are you sure you're asking me this question? He just looked at me and then just walked off. Right. Hey, man, you got to give it a shot.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Andre Wakefield, thank you so very much for joining us on the Rewind Sports 60.
Thank you, Jerry.
We'll definitely get you back out here as March Madness continue to go. Kelly Lee Williams, the hits just keep coming.
Go Ramblers! Go Ramblers!
Go
Ramblers!
For sure. Represent. Folks, we're going to take a short time out. Take a short time out. Chicago Highlanders is going to take you into the break, and then we'll be closing up shop. Marty D, the man on the street. We'll be here, folks. Keep it locked in. You've got the Rewind Sports 60.
We can get a real good.
Thank you, Get him on in there. Bye, Fish.
Right here?
Shot, yeah.
You guys blended beautifully together. Thank you very much. Chemistry was great with you guys.
Perfect, guys.
Gary, great segment.
That was very good.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, man. Thank you, sir, for being here. Oh, happy St. Patrick's Day coming up. We're going to have fun and taking a break. All right.
Thank you, guys. You ready, Mark? Chicago Highlanders, ladies and gentlemen. Jeff Harris, Anita Janis, and Dan Brill. Guys, you are fantastic.
In there, sir. Get in there.
Get in here real quick. If people want to get a hold of you, what do they need to do?
Contact us through our website, chicagohighlanders.org.
Speaking to the mic, let them know.
You can contact us at our website, chicagohighlanders.org.
There you go. Chicago Highlanders. These guys are fantastic, ladies and gentlemen. I tell you, the hits just keep coming. You guys come on out here to Serenello's Ristorante Italiano, right here in the heart of Wheeling, just outside the greatest city in the world. That, of course, Chicago, Illinois. You never know what you're going to get. We're here every Sunday brunch, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. They get things started 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. It's the best in town, folks. Come on down. The Rewind Sports 60, Serenello's Ristorante Italiano. Guys, thank you so very much again for coming out. Really appreciate it. I hope you guys got enough to eat and enjoy yourselves.
Thank you.
Thank you so very much.
So much to the morning.
And of course, we got to wrap things up, folks. But before that, of course, the man on the street, Marty B, is in the house. And of course, Derek McIntyre.
Yes.
The Big Mac. And of course, Kelly Lee Williams, TR60 correspondent. Gentlemen, how you guys doing? Happy Sunday. You guys enjoying the pipes and drums?
Oh yeah, I really enjoyed the little flames y'all doing, the smoke. And you know, they giving us something to dance to, and you can also come and brunch, you know, do all the little things. This live here.
Live on YouTube, and of course, programming note, every Tuesday we're on Comcast Access in the Lake County area, all up where there's Zion Racine, Kenosha, the Wisconsin border. Check us out every Tuesday at 6 o'clock on Channel 17. And then in the northern suburbs of Cook County, we're on Wednesdays at 7 o'clock, Channel 19 and 35. Channel 19 and 35, Cook County, northern suburbs, Chicago, Comcast Access. It's the Rewind Sports 60. Marty B, my man, how are you?
Terrific, Jerry.
Good to
It's
see
great
you.
to be back here today.
Thank you so very much. I know you had a pretty busy couple weeks.
Oh, yes. But I'm adjusting very well to the Princeton
You're
Club.
back in the saddle again, my good friend. Hey, real quick, Derek, when people come here, Serenello, they get a chance to see your smiling face, and of course they get a chance to get some of those, what do you call those waffles?
Fun-loving waffle.
Fun-loving waffle. You get a chance to check it out. The carving station, the omelet station, what can people expect when they come over to you?
When you come over to the carving station or the omelet station, you can get fast service, a great smile, and I guarantee when you sit down and eat what you got, you're going to come back once again.
Boom.
You know, so we want y'all to just come on out, man, have fun. Every Sundays I'm here. The Rewind is here. And we got something good here going on. So we need you guys to come out.
Come on out.
See me, see Jerry, the Rewind. and that's what we need, man.
There you go. There you go. Marty B, you're the man on the street. What's the latest, my good friend?
Yes, well, we're going to shift gears a little bit, Jerry, and talk about the theatrical scene in Chicago right
yes.
now. Yes, very definitely. There are a couple of very exciting productions that I plan on seeing probably right after the Lenten season, because I do put certain parameters on my demeanor during the Lenten time. But there are two plays that really excite me. One is actually, it made its debut last evening at the Goodman Theater, An Enemy of the People. This is a Robert Falls production, and anything that Robert Falls touches is good. Very, very good. This is Henry Ibsen's timely classic. Just a brief synopsis here. When a water contamination crisis puts their community in peril, two brothers face off in a battle of political ambition and moral integrity. Now, nearly 150 years after Ibsen's masterpiece thrilled audiences, here it is again. It's amazing how startling this current play and its ideas just fall into place right now with our society.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Don't you agree?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's so many places with contaminated water right now in this country alone.
The Michigan situation.
Yes, and Ohio and Pennsylvania, the entire Midwest. There's really nobody talking about that. But that'd be a great place to see. Enemy of the People, man.
Yes, we're so delighted to have it at the Goodman. It's really it's necessary that it be recreated, and I'm sure that for the viewing audience it will be a very exhilarating experience. So that's at the Goodman. It started last evening. I will look forward to hearing the reviews, if not today, early in the week, and I'll keep you posted. But that's what I plan on seeing.
There you go.
And then there's another play that really intrigues me. I think we all saw it at one time or another. Of course, I have a few years on you gentlemen. I saw it when it first came out back in 1967. Guess Who's Coming to Dinner?
Oh, get out of here! Yes, where?
Guess Who's Coming to Dinner? And it's being created on the screen, or on the stage, at the Court Theater in Hyde Park.
Nice.
You can access Court Theater by just simply Googling courttheater.org, and you'll get all the information. And that's what I plan on seeing. And we all can remember the original with Spencer Tracy, Katharine Hepburn, Sidney Poitier, and Katharine Hepburn's niece, Catherine Houghton, who I never saw in anything ever again.
You're right. That was the only thing.
Never again did I ever see her in anything. But what's kind of interesting, and I didn't realize this until later, that was Spencer Tracy's last film, and of course he and Katharine Hepburn had a very close relationship all through the years. It was only a few weeks after he finished filming Guess Who's Coming to Dinner when Spencer passed away. So that, what a legacy, what a mark he left on theater. So those are two great plays. I plan on seeing both, and after I do, I will certainly give you a review. But don't wait for me. Get over there and see it. The View from the Bridge, that will be running at the Goodman Theater, began last night through April 15th. A few days later from now, Guess Who's Coming to Dinner will be opening up
in Hyde Park
at the Court Theater, and that will run until April 18th.
Okay.
So, synonymous.
I'd love to see Guess Who's Coming to Dinner as like a musical.
That would be.
Who's that black guy in my kitchen table?
You have certainly
Kelly Lee Wills. Hey, folks, Kelly Lee Wills. I'm telling you, he's an up and coming. He is. Tracy Morgan, it's over, man. What's that?
Don't worry, Tracy. I got nothing on you, man.
Kevin Hart, no, it's okay, man. It's over. Move over, brother. I'm telling you. Kelly Lee Williams, he's here every Sunday. Sunday brunch at Serenello's.
Black guys like to eat too.
And you know, Kelly, Andre's lovely wife, Danita, has quite a bit to do with placing comedians and different things. So before you leave this morning, you'll want to get acquainted with Mrs. Wakefield.
Well, I'm not funny, so I don't really know why you would want to talk to me.
Unless I'm doing Jerry. If I'm doing Jerry, then, we got it. Well, I want to do the Jerry Rouse story. I want to be the Jerry Rouse story. I want to do it on ESPN 2 or it's ESPN 8, ESPN 9, whatever. Wherever they allow Jerry Rouse's story, it'll be 45 minutes because his life was so short, and it'll be all...
Take it easy! What's wrong with this guy?
Fastest 2 hours of sports television. That's right. Fastest 2 hours.
What else you got? Marty beat the man on the street?
Well, that was the big thing this morning, is those two plays. However, there was a very nice article in the Tribune on Friday on Doug Bruno, and in future weeks, Andre Wakefield and Doug Bruno are both going to be here to talk a little bit about the marvelous success that the DePaul women's basketball
Yes.
That's awesome. That's
Yes.
awesome.
So that'll be Doug. And,
I love Doug Bruno.
Oh,
he's a good man.
And keep on tap here because we're going to get Mark Dvorak here real soon. I know how much you all enjoyed the great entertainment this morning. But we're going to keep that coming.
Chicago Highlanders.
Yeah, Chicago Highlanders were just terrific. They set the stage. They've raised the bar.
They have.
And we're going to have Mark Dvorak and his group shortly. And another lady that someone I would just love to have on the program. To talk about the interesting neighborhoods of Chicago, Jen Nilsson. She's expressed interest in coming. Her schedule's kind of full, but we're going to keep after Jen and get her here.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Gotcha. All right. Hey, gentlemen. All good?
All good. Oh, we need Sarah Spain on. Sarah Spain need to come on to Rewind Sports 60. I've been talking to her on Twitter. She's awesome. I love to have her come talk to us, and she got a lot of things to say. So Sarah Spain, hey, you need to come to Rewind Sports 60 like next week. Get out here. We got eggs. You like eggs.
I haven't seen Sarah in a while. Well, guys, thank you so very much for coming on. It's always a pleasure. Marty B, the man on the street. Folks, that'll do it for us here at the Serenello's Ristorante Italiano. We'd like to say thank you again to our guests, Mark Grody, WBBM Bears pre-post sideline reporter, and of course of the Score Sports Radio 670, John Moon Mullen, NBC Chicago Sports, Dan Marvelous Marver, our IHSA basketball guru, TR60 correspondent, of course, Danny Carlino, the Italian stallion.
And Mayor of Wheeling. Danny Carlino.
Is he?
Mayor of Wheeling, yes. Yes, he is.
How did that happen?
Oh, Mark Roy and I talked about it. He looks like the Mayor of Wheeling. He looks like he'd be going, hey, how am I doing? Danny Carlino.
But he doesn't live in Wheeling, though.
It doesn't matter. Like you got to live there in order to run it.
Okay.
This is Chicago. Come on, we're corrupt as heck.
But
we don't have to be living there.
Thanks to all you guys. Andre Wakefield for joining us as well on this special broadcast, St. Patrick's Day theme. Folks, we hope you guys have a fantastic day, a fantastic week, and we'll see you again. But before we close out, Marty B is going to send us out on a winning note.
Thank you, Jerry. As we embark on all this sports activity, the high school finals and the NCAA tournament, we all get wrapped up with our teams, and there's going to be jubilation and there's going to be disappointment. But I want to leave you, in conjunction with that, a closing thought. Success and failure is often measured in terms of results. However, what is even more important is the amount of effort that each one of us puts into what we do. If at any given moment we can say that we have done our best and all that is required of us, then we do not need to be bothered about the outcome.
There you go. Marty B,
Hallelujah, sir.
the man on the street. Folks, have a great Sunday. Enjoy your week, and we'll see you again next time. Take care, everybody.
Be excellent to each other.
Hey, great.
The Rewind